like that. Of course, I went far, far away from the church. But while I was in prison, I was like, you know what? I remember my mom always telling me, when you don't know what to do, go to God. And so that's what I started doing.
Smart. I like that.
Yeah.
Don't know what to do, go to God.
Yeah. He's got all the answers.
Say that again to the mic.
When you don't know what to do, go to God.
When you don't know what to do, go to God.
All the time. It will never fail you. I promise that.
Once I looked at it on TV, you know, love me tender, love me sweet.
You know how I know we need a new box from Solon? Because I just had to wash all my clothes.
Oh, that sucks. Shit, I got one or two that are still.
Just hit that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah. You could tighten it at the.
But yeah, that's
lift it up and loosen and tighten. Hold that.
All right.
Yeah.
Whoever tighten it.
Here.
you don't even have to though. It'll move without it. And then what, Shane? Then you push it down. That's a little high.
All right, perfect.
Nice. 12-hour shift. Wow.
Yeah,
We
graveyard shift.
Are you
12
serious?
hour
Yeah,
graveyard.
7 at night to 7:30 in the morning.
So
Whoa.
are you like a mental health? Like what's your title?
So I'm a mental health worker. We go hand in hand with the RNs. We're kind of like the front line.
Yeah.
You know, deal with the patients more one-on-one, the redirectors. In the case of an event, the people that kind of help the patients comply.
Yeah.
Not in like in a bad sense. Like
The Enforcer. I was
down,
thinking
but-
The Enforcer. As soon as he said that, I'm
Yeah.
thinking, yeah. You know what movie I was thinking about? I was this is going to be funny. You know that movie with, God, now I can't, Adam Sandler? And he drops he's a golfer.
Oh, Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore. And he
Yeah.
drops his grandmother or his mother off at the old age home.
Yes.
And some lady jumps on his window, save me!
Right.
Yeah. You remember that or no?
I don't think I've ever seen
Adam
that
Sandler, Happy
That's a really
Gilmore.
good movie.
Bro, have you never watched that movie?
I'm not like a movie buff. So.
Bro, Happy Gilmore. You'll laugh.
I've heard
Playing
of it.
golf with like a hockey stick.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've
it's
heard
fucking
of it.
hilarious.
I've heard of it.
Hilarious. Yeah, with the
Yeah.
alligator. and
The alligator together.
What if you could do SEO smarter and faster?
What do we do? Oh,
With
is this
Wix,
the
you
scene?
can edit your meta tags.
Oh, yeah. Let's see the scene.
Stay here and have some fun.
I will do. Don't worry.
Oh, pardon me, but it's halftime. All right, that sounds nice.
You go.
I love you.
I love you too, darling.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye.
This is hilarious, bro.
Hey, buddy, I want you to do me a favor. You see that lady? She's very important to me, okay? Okay. So, I want you to take extra special care of her. You know what I'm talking about here? I can't accept that. But I'll tell you what I can do. I can take extra special care of that young lady over there for nothing. Okay, I appreciate that. Have a nice afternoon.
Sir, could I trouble you for a glass of warm milk? It helps put me to sleep.
You could trouble me for a warm glass of shut the hell up. Now you will go to sleep, or I will put you to sleep. Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
Oh, dear.
Stop yapping your trap for a second, I can tell.
That was it. I don't know how. Oh, that's the mental health worker right there. That's what I had a vision of him doing that to people.
Yeah.
Isn't that mean of me? Yeah.
I'm gonna guess that's what he does.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Does the exact opposite.
Yeah. Yeah. Great movie though.
It is.
Yeah. How'd you
It
get
was.
into that line of work?
So I have a uncle that works there.
Yeah.
And so he was like, hey, man, you need to come get in this.
Because that's a good job, man.
Right.
It's tough to get those jobs.
It is. I was doing private security before that.
Yeah. Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah. So
Good for you. Wow. Yeah. I was going to say, tell us about yourself, but I know that's kind of your thing. So I was waiting for you. But if you want me to do it, I'll go ahead and start in. We have a thing here. You're just, you're a little slow today, bro. Or I'm a little fast. I'm hyper. I'm on
Have
one.
you had fucking caffeine?
No, yes, I did a pre-workout, 300 milligrams.
Huh?
That'll do it every time.
Cue the intro. That's enough. That was long enough.
Yeah, man.
You don't need to keep it going that long.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Holy smokes. Oh, yeah.
We don't have an intro.
No, we don't.
That made that even funnier.
Right.
It smells like food in here. Who's eating?
Michael
Holy smoke. That is rude, bro.
Is it like barbecue?
Yeah,
or
I don't know what it
I'm
is, but
smelling
why
like
are there not
barbecue
3
sauce?
plates?
Barbecue
You're gonna
sauce?
fucking eat in here. We need 3 plates, man. This is not fucking right. Holy
curry.
shit. No, chicken curry. I don't want that. Fucking, I don't like curry.
Yeah,
But it smells great.
it smells good.
It really smells good, but I don't eat curry for a few reasons. I won't mention them.
Okay, good.
Not today.
It's not your podcast.
You're right. We have a guest. Holy fuck me.
Yeah.
All right. I'm back.
So what's happening, man?
Yeah.
Dave.
Hold on. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Dave.
Great sweatshirt.
Thanks. It's my clothing brand.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, stay great above hate.
Oh, great.
Stay great. Stay what?
Stay great above hate.
Stay great above hate.
Yeah, it's a anti-bullying brand.
Nice.
So
That's awesome.
That's like embroidered on?
Yes,
Nice.
That is cool. Do you have zipper ones?
I'm gonna make them.
Okay, as soon as you make a zipper one, I'll buy one. I don't wear, you know that. I don't wear sweatshirts. I feel claustrophobic, but I really like this one.
I had a lady at church tell me the same thing. She's
Yeah.
like, "Give me the zip up one
Yeah,
because I
I'll-
feel like I'm gonna die."
Yeah,
when I put
yeah.
it
I'm
on."
just
I'm
saying.
like, I got you.
Yeah,
Don't
I'm
worry
like,
about it.
I'm like Granny.
I like the hoodie.
Yeah, you
I
like
go with the
hoodies.
hoodie.
Yeah.
I don't like the zipper.
Me
I think
neither.
the hoodie looks way cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you could just put it on and you're gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes that zipper is like,
Like I actually can't wait for hoodie season to be back. Like full blown hoodie season. Cuz like that's all I wore when we first started doing
Yeah.
the podcast.
Yeah.
And then it became summer.
Yeah.
well, these are actually slimmer hoodies, so they're not really thick.
Oh.
Get a lot of great ventilation in them. They're very light.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice paint splatter. I really like it.
Yeah, thanks.
It reminded me of Bugs Bunny
So
a little bit.
we're I'm gonna ask questions about your clothing. So you have the connections to get the hoodies and all of that because we're
I thought we were
trying to-
talking business
we're trying
after
to
the
put
podcast. I was going
together
to start
some
doing
swag.
business.
We need some Hopeaholic swag.
Yeah,
That's
we
the one
do.
thing we're missing. Like we
Yeah.
got people are asking us for swag now.
Yeah.
Gotta have the swag, man.
You gotta have the swag.
So we need to have some
Got
swag.
to. Got to.
I feel like because we're past the point of T-shirts and stuff like that. So it's like summer's coming back. Something nice,
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
with the nice Hopeaholics logo
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
there on
Embroidered
the
like
front.
that. Yeah. We don't know what the logo is though.
Right, I know.
Shit. Everything.
This is our logo, but
Used
we're
to be.
updating the logo because we
Yeah.
added Natalie Eva Marie to the Hopeaholics podcast.
Okay.
And she's a girl, so she didn't like the bald head logo.
I'm loving it, of course, obviously, right?
Right.
Can't we just like put her hair right
Yeah.
there?
And
Just put her hair right
yes. Yes.
there. And like some lipstick.
Yeah,
Yep.
man. We could. Yeah.
But then
whatever.
what? Then who is this? Who's this?
This is what I'm saying. It's no bueno. You got to
No,
change
right?
the whole
It's
thing.
like
Put some bangs on it.
It's gonna be like Pep Boys, 3 heads, 3 individual heads.
Manny Moe and Jack.
Yeah,
Yep.
Manny Moe and Jack. Pep Boys. That's all. Yeah.
I mean, we could do that. We could do 3 smaller heads.
3 small heads and then a circle with her red. Her hair kind of circling everything in a heart.
That's too much.
This guy's got to lay off the pre-workout.
Yeah,
Shit.
that's too much.
Too much? All right, I just
Don't
gave
you
you a
think?
little
That's way
overview.
too
I
much.
just gave an overview. It doesn't have to go that way. Yeah.
Dave,
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
what's happening? Tell us about your life. We'll
Man.
ask you questions once you get going.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Start early.
cool. So early in life, I kind of start when things kind of got bad for me.
Yeah.
I was in high school. I was doing a lot. I was doing pretty good up until high school. And then in high school, started getting in trouble, started hanging with the wrong crowd, eventually joined a gang at 15. And then by 17, I was in jail for murder, conspiracy to commit murder, attempted murder, and shooting an occupied dwelling, all with gang enhancements. in the midst of all of that, like I always tell people, like you would think that with that situation going on, that my brain would have clicked, like, yo, it's time to like change your life. You got to do better. And it's like, nah, it's time to go deeper in this. Like, let's get into some fights. Let's be really insubordinate towards the cops, things of that nature. And so I fought my case for 4.5 years in the LA County Jail in Men's Central, which was really hell.
Yeah.
And got sentenced November 1st, 2010. Went to prison December 2nd, 2010. My mom passed away from lupus January 18th, 2011. Then while in Tracy, California, in a dual vocation institution.
Yeah.
Get shipped from there to Pelican Bay State Prison. My little brother dies, succumbs to gunshot wounds. And so I'm just sitting in there, I'm sitting in my cell, and I'm telling myself, like, dude, your mom and brother's last years on this earth, like, you missed it for some shit that didn't even matter, some shit that doesn't even count in life. And so I was like, you know what, if my best thinking got me squatting and coughing, which is how they search you in jail, that's why I use that analogy for a strip search. I'm like, if my best thinking, my most brilliant plan, this $1 million idea has me squatting and coughing, I think it's time to change the way I think. And so with that, I always had like a spiritual background. My mom, raised us in church and everything like that. Of course, I went far, far away from the church. But while I was in prison, I was like, you know what? I remember my mom always telling me, when you don't know what to do, go to God. And so that's what I started doing.
Smart. I
That's
like
just-
that.
yeah.
Don't know what to do, go to God.
Yeah. He's got all the answers.
Say that again to the mic.
When you don't know what to do, go to God.
When you don't know what to do, go to God.
All the time. It will never fail you. I promise that.
Those are facts.
Yeah, bro.
You
No
just
one
gotta
said
do-
that.
Huh?
No one's really ever laid it out like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Shit, even when you think you know what to do,
Yeah.
Go to God.
go to God.
Yeah, right?
Because that's where my problem lies.
Yeah.
It's when I think I know what I'm doing.
True. Gun to that horse.
I bet your best thinking got you
How
got you
many
sentenced
years?
to prison.
Yeah, it got me 58 years of life.
58?
58 years to life.
58 to life.
Well, originally 100 years to life. But then, getting this sentence stayed, getting the charge overturned and reversed to a lower term, ended up with 58 years to life. Yeah. Really, 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 like, probably one of my darkest times in my life, because California, is notorious for never letting people out of prison when you get a life sentence. So it was like, oh, shit. I remember the bus ride after being sentenced and just seeing Los Angeles. And I'm just like, damn, I might never, ever see this again. But the funny thing is, so I had like two things that really, really like put me on the path of change. So one was right before I was going to trial, I had this dream, I've never had this dream ever. And I had just got a new district attorney. And so I'm in a dream. All I hear is guilty, 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 like a movie scene. And I'm standing in front of this liquor store in my neighborhood, and all of my friends start like popping up behind me, but like not the gang friends. You know what I mean? Like it was all like people that I had stopped hanging out with and stopped being cool with because I joined the gang. And people are walking up like, yo, David, what's going on? What's going on? And me and the district attorney, we're like having like this old Western stand down. And I'm like looking at her. She's looking at me. And I'm like, this is not over, right? She's like, yeah, I know it's not. I'm like, I'll be back, right? She's like, trust me, Mr. Spivey, I know you'll be back. And then people are like, what's going on? I'm like, she thinks she got me, but she doesn't. And so I like wake up. I'm like, what the hell? Like, God, I hope that dream is not real. And it was, because I got life in prison. But that dream kind of held me throughout my entire incarceration, because I'm a big believer, like, God he's not a hocus pocus God. So he's not like Loki, if anybody's familiar with Norwegian mythology, like the god of
mischief.
Yes. So I'm like, all right, that dream's got to mean something. And then the day I got sentenced, there was this guy, it's crackhead, known him almost my whole life, and he's never made sense. And so when I saw him, I'm like, man, it's over with. It's over with for me, Lamar. It's over. Like, I'm about to go do life in prison. I'll never see the park again. I'll never see the home. He's like, nah, you can appeal that. And I was like, man, everybody says appeal. That shit doesn't work. He's like, yeah, no, it does. And for me, I felt like that was my burning bush moment, you know? For those who don't know, when Moses was in the wilderness and the bush was on fire but never was consumed. And I felt like for me, that was the moment because I'm like, here is a guy that I've literally watched pour beer over his head when the police came and not go to jail because they were just like, no, let him. We don't want that guy in the car, you know? And if he can make some sense, and this guy's been smoking crack since crack came to Los Angeles. Yeah. I'm like, you know what, dude? You can appeal this, you know what I mean? And so I tried the appeal process. That didn't work. And I always say this, and I like to say this I got exactly what I deserved. You know, I'm not the guy crying like, oh man, the system did me wrong. Like, no, I contribute a whole lot to that. And so when my mom, before she died, while she was on her deathbed, she told my aunt, tell David I did everything possible for him not to be in this situation. And since he's put himself in it, he's got to get himself out. And so that was just like, that was the baton, man, in the race. And it was just like, all right, it's time to go. So that's the story. Decided to, when I was in Pelican Bay, I got a job in the chapel, you know, and it was really funny because I never applied for a job in the chapel. There was a Jewish rabbi that was walking by, and I just, you know, said shalom to him. And he was just like, oh, shalom, shalom. He, you know, like, who is this black guy saying shalom to me? Like, how does he know about this? You know, so the next day, the Catholic chaplain comes like, hey, you want a job? Nice. I was like, for sure. I don't want to be in a cell all day because we were on like
it to the Jewish guy.
20, yeah, exactly, man.
Leave it to the Jewish guy to hook him up.
Yeah, man.
Shane's the Jewish guy.
Yeah, I'm a Jewish guy.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, shalom.
Yeah, shalom.
And so got the job. That job was like the thing that saved my life in prison. Damn. You know, because I became the head clerk.
Yeah.
And so I was always in the chapel, even on my off days. Like, basically, I ran the chapel as far as an inmate can. Like, a lot of the chaplains used to be like, I don't know, go ask Spivey. And I'd be like, who you looking for? And I'm like, all right, hold on. All right, tell them to call this guy out of cell. And even the officers, like, after seeing like, well, you know what, this guy's not really getting into a lot of trouble. He's always at work. He's always in the chapel. You know, I used to preach a little bit. And so like they would see that because they would come in there and check it out. Because everybody like super skeptical of the chapel because the chapel is like where a lot of bullshit happens instead of praising. You know what I mean? So like they would come in, we would have like an hour service and like you're going to see a guard at least like 5-6 times. And so they started kind of being like, okay, Spivey. Like I stopped getting the side eye, and it was more like the skeptical eye a little bit, but like not too bad. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, a win is a win. I'll take that. And I just really didn't have any problems with them. And like when a lot of stuff was going on the yard, I'm in the chapel. You know, you got a riot going off. I'm in the chapel. You know, so my points were able to drop. I was able to go to a level 3 prison, Ironwood State Prison. And I'm a high school dropout, you know. I went to jail at 17.
So with a life sentence, is a level 3 the lowest you can get to?
No. You can go now they have it. You can go to a level 1. Oh, but the lowest was level 2.
Okay.
And so I go to a level 3. This prison was known as a baby 4-yard, so it was like really, really active as well.
Yeah.
And so when I got there, I still was kind of like juiced up off being on a level 4 and trying to portray that role. Like, yeah, I just left a level 4. I was in Pelican Bay. I was on a shoe kick out yard with like some of the craziest dudes in the world, and I was not afraid of none of them. Like, you know, that old dumb shit. And I'll never forget because on the level 4 you cannot run anywhere unless you're exercising. And they were doing an inline at Ironwood, so that's like when they give you opportunity to go back in the cell to grab something, or you want to go back in the building to shower. And the dude is like running behind me, and dude, PTSD kicked in so like all like inches away from socking him. I just turned around like, what the? And my homeboy's like, hey, man, what are you doing? I'm like, you're not supposed to be running in prison. He's like, dude, you ain't on a 4-yard no more. Like, oh shit, okay. And so I remember going to my cell one day, and this Asian guy who ran with the Southern Mexicans. I don't know why, but
there's always
because he wasn't even gang affiliated.
There's always that token white guy too,
for sure.
And his name's usually like Casper.
Yeah, or Wedo.
Wedo.
Yeah. So
I whistled in jail once. I was pissed.
Yeah,
He
that's a
don't-
super sign of disrespect.
I was in jail and I said to him, I looked at him right into his face. I said, hey, should I punch myself in the nose? I swear to God, I said, should I punch myself in the nose? Should I break my nose for you? He said, no, don't worry about it this fucking time. I won't tell anybody. Swear to God. True story.
Who said that?
It was some guy who was one of the...
Was this in Canada?
This is in Canada, bro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have no idea what the rules are in Canada.
Nah, yeah.
No whistling.
Canadian.
No
mountains.
fucking
You hear the Andy Griffith song come on, you're like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You know, he's like,
Yeah.
you're fighting everything in you. Like, please don't say it. Please don't whistle.
Yeah.
Yeah, California is pretty crazy too. Like, it's a lot of rules in there that you're just like, are you serious? You know, like, this is really the rule. Like, you know, this is what's going to either make or break me right now. And it's like, yep. You're like, okay. You know, you're like, all right, I don't want to be. I always say, learn from everybody else's mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, if this guy's getting beat up off the yard or stabbed, you get, what happened to him? He
don't-
gambled on his ass.
Yeah.
Okay, don't do that.
Yep.
You know, so
You don't want to be beat up, and more so, you don't want to be stabbed. I don't know. Being beat up could be worse sometimes.
no, when I was in Pelican Bay, this guy named Snap, this was a really good friend of mine. You know, I guess you can't say that truly because
You're in jail.
I knew he was going to get beat up and I didn't tell him. But because I didn't want to get, because that's another thing too. Like right now, like if something was going on with one of your buddies, you'd be like, yo, bro, I'd probably leave the house if I were you. You know, he's not going to eventually tell the cops like, well, I left because, you know, my friend said I should leave. But like in jail, people would do that. Like they'll be like, hey, David told me that you guys are going to kick my ass today. And it's like, oh, he did? Like, no, homie, you good. And then they go tell your people. And now you don't want to get your ass kicked, and he knew about it and didn't tell you. So it's like, I just shut the hell up, and they beat that guy really bad, man. Like, broke his nose, fractured his skull, broke his jaw, and knocked him out.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's fucked up.
You would have thought he was a pedophile or something on the yard. You know, it was like, and all that happened because he got his homeboys into a riot with another gang. And it was like, oh, okay. And that's one of the most ironic things about going to jail is that like you could be like a super hardcore gangbanger on the streets, and then when you go inside a jail, like there's so many rules that prevent you from being like this super active guy. Like you can't see your enemy and be like, yeah, I'm finna go get this dude. It's like,
Wow.
no, you're not.
No, you're not.
I had a guy that did that. His name was Jamie Baker, and he's dead now. But he was the one guy. He was in jail with the Hells Angels, with the Los Bravos, and he used to walk around in the nude after he did a shot in jail, and he would fight everybody. No one, and then finally two guys, they ended up killing him. But he was an animal. This guy, he did that. He was like that. He was the one guy I knew. He was went to jail for 20 years for axe murdering a guy.
Yeah, you know a dude like that got to be crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, first off, if you're naked fighting other dudes, that's when that right there is a sign.
Well, he would
that
attack.
There's
He-
something
oh, yeah, it's
not
nuts.
right.
Yeah, the screws are probably
yeah.
like
And you
jammed
know-
in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and those are scary people.
Scary people. Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
people that like
Don't
like,
care.
Don't care.
Don't care. Don't care.
Because I'm at least gonna go put my pants on and my socks and my shoes.
He did it on purpose. What I heard was, and it's like yesterday, I heard that he was walking around naked. Say, who doesn't like it? Who wants to do something about it? Going up to the Hells Angels. Who did? And yeah, it was. Maybe we shouldn't even say that. God.
And some way when
Yeah,
guy's
whatever.
dead.
I guess we should start whistling then.
No. Shit, man. My heart's pumping a little bit. Poor Jamie Baker. I think he died from an infection from a knife wound, actually. Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah.
Dirty Shiv.
Yeah.
Yep, you can definitely create that on your own.
Yeah.
You know, sit the knife in urine or feces and stab somebody, and it's over with.
Damn.
What's
Never
the most
even thought of
obscure
that.
weapon you ever seen?
Say that again.
The
The
most
craziest
obscure
weapon.
weapon you've seen.
So they got these things called Christmas trees,
Yeah.
and so it's like
Yeah.
a shank that's like maybe about this long, and it has like these ridges.
Oh, cuts.
So when
and
it goes
can't
inside
pull
you,
out.
it guts when it pulls out.
Gyrates it like, oh shit, like a hook.
The whites are known for those knives. Damn. Like that's like a signature wood knife.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're the minority in there.
They are.
But they're still pretty tough, huh?
No, they are, because you have to be when you're like the small group.
Yeah.
You know, that's like the northern Hispanics.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very small, but very, very dangerous.
Violent, huh?
Very, very, like, they're the most structured group of, I guess, collective in prison.
Yeah.
Like, they're very, very on point.
Yeah.
You know, but
So,
the
what he's
whites
leading into is this is very segregated, and it's it's segregated even between the Hispanics, right? You've got the southern Hispanics or the Sureños, right? And then you have the northern Hispanics and they don't like each other.
Damn, it's crazy.
The Norteños and a lot of them are from Fresno, right? The Bulldogs.
Those are the so they're not the same thing.
So they're not the same thing.
The Bulldogs, they actually beef with the Norteños and the Sureños because at one point in time, like they ran with the Norteños, they stopped running with them, they started running with the Sureños. Sureños like, yeah, get the fuck out of here. And then they're like, all right, well, like these dudes literally bark.
Really?
Like they literally bark. Fuck. Like that's one of their signs. So it's like, oh, okay.
It's crazy time. Crazy.
You know, you see it and you're like, oh, we're doing that now. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like but even it's the most ironic part about the segregation in prison is that number one, segregation is illegal in the United States. Yeah. But in prison, the guards use that to their benefit. Because if everybody's looking at each other, if I'm looking at you like, man, what's up with this white boy? You looking at me like, man, why this black dude? Nobody's worried about the COs that are like taking your CD player or going to trash your cell when they're pissed off. It's all like, man, the white boy's the reason that they searched this. You're like, no, the police are the reason they searched. They could have easily just have not searched. You know what I mean? It's like, but it's, dude, I swear, I thank God every day for being out of jail because prison is like babysitting on steroids. You know, because all day long it's like, hey man, your people, hey man, your homeboy. Hey, you're like, God damn. Somebody's coming to your room. They're like, hey, yeah, your boy owes me some money, and you're like, oh shit. All right, we finna have to do something. Don't let a white Crip come to the yard. It's like, oh shit, we're going to the hole.
Yeah, right.
It's about to be a riot. I'm gonna start packing my own shit because if not, I know the police are not gonna pack everything.
I knew a white Crip.
You did?
I did.
Did you buy crack?
Yeah, up in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
Is that Washington Street around there?
Oh, okay, yeah, he's from Venice Showline.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, it was a white guy. As a matter of fact, I was told that his uncle was one of the starters.
I would believe it because Venice is like a melting pot.
Yeah.
And but it's kind of crazy too because I don't know if you're a movie buff. You remember that movie American History X?
Yeah. Oh fuck yeah.
That's based off. Yeah, that's based off of Santa Monica.
Yeah,
and,
that guy
Venice.
face stomped him. That was crazy. I never knew that. That was a crazy.
I gotta watch that again.
That was a crazy.
It's
What's
such
his
a good
name? He's a
movie.
good actor. That white guy.
Oh yeah.
Who did the stomp? He stomped the guy's head.
That was a crazy.
I can't think.
That's a crazy scene.
Yeah, crazy.
Like
scene.
a mat, like
cops were there, and he stomped him on the curb.
Yeah,
with his mouth right on the edge.
Yeah, he skull dragged him.
Ed Norton.
Yeah, Ed Norton.
Oh yeah, Ed Norton is a really good actor.
Really good.
Wow, look at what Ed Norton looks like now. Damn, that ain't what he looked like in the movie.
No, there he is.
Yeah,
Ed Norton. Who else is in it though? Go back to the cast because I don't really care about this crap. But where's the Mexican guy that played?
that dude Ethan Suplee. I remember he had a really crazy scene. Remember when they were all getting prosecuted and he started yelling "Nah, hurrah" or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that's the little kid that got stomped. Is it? I didn't even know Deborah Wilson was in that movie.
No, I never knew. Crazy movie though.
Super crazy.
Yeah, super crazy, bro. Okay, go on.
Yeah, so it's just so much babysitting, man. It's like it's to me it's more stressful being in jail than like following the rules in society and just living your own life. You know, like everybody's all like, "Oh, buck the system," and then you go to jail. It's like, no, you're part of the system, dude. You follow all these rules, and then when you're in society, like one of the most ironic things to me was like dudes flashing their light to go to work in prison, and they were the same guys that are like, I'm not working at McDonald's, so you got me fucked up. And it's like, dude, you worked in the kitchen for 8 cents and never missed a day. You know, like I always thought that would like as I started maturing and started like letting the scales fall from my eyes.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm like sitting around. I remember because I used to teach a lot of self-help classes, and I was teaching Criminals Gang Anonymous, CGA. And I'm like, dude, the real gangsters are the people who pay taxes.
Yeah. Because
they pay the government to stay the hell away from them. Yeah. While we're chasing the government to be all in our damn business. Like, hey, look, I don't know how to handle myself out here, so put me in jail. And then dudes was like, damn, I never thought about it like that. I'm like, none of us did. That's why we're in prison. That's why your mom and dad's not in prison, and they come and go as they please, and nobody tells them you can only wear gray shorts. You know, so it's like, it's crazy.
Fuck. That's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't miss any of that kind of like life, but you know, and for me, like a lot of it was, you know, revolved around my drug addiction. You know, I never made it to the California State Prison. I was in and out of the county jail, like San Bernardino and Orange County for a period of 5 years, just in and out, you know.
A revolving door.
Yeah, and a judge, when I was 22, he said, you can either go to rehab today for 365 days or you can go to prison for 3 years. And I was like, I debated for a second.
Yeah.
You know, because like when you were like back in that era, that life of drugs and all of that. Plus, if I took this deal, because you know everybody in jail is telling you don't take a deal where you have a tail,
right?
You know, you're gonna fuck it up, and so I had to make a decision: am I going to fuck this up or not? You know, or do I just go do my time now because I already have this amount of time served?
Exactly.
So those were the thoughts that went through my head, and finally I was like, no, I actually don't want to live this life anymore. And I made a decision, and I made it through. I made it through. I never got no probation violations, nothing. It hasn't been perfect since because I've relapsed many times throughout my life, but it was a life-changing event. So,
right.
You know, I got a nudge from a judge,
right,
to do something different.
And thank God for that judge. You know?
I do. Yeah.
Because a lot of us have, so in Criminal Gang Anonymous, we learned that like about these warped beliefs, the warped belief system that operates us and drives us and motivates us to do what we're doing. Like the fact that you even debated going to prison or getting your life together. You know, it's like this false, or I call it blind loyalty, right? It's like you're loyal to whatever it is that you're doing. You don't give a damn what you're losing, how you're losing it. It's just like, I can't let my buddy down. I can't let my, you know, and I used to say all the time, like, it's so amazing how we can turn our back on our family, like in 0.1 seconds. Yeah. And then when it's time to like leave the bullshit, it's like, oh man, but my buddy's not going to talk to me anymore. Like, dude, you let your mom down 100 times and you're worrying about some dude that's not going to change your, like, but it's the warped belief system. And, you know, a lot of people don't talk about that enough as far as the addiction to the lifestyle, you know, because everybody's like drugs, alcohol, like, okay, yeah. But that when you have, when the lifestyle, that criminal mindset has its grips in you, it's hard as hell for that to, like, dude, I had to pray to God. I was like, look, I don't have the strength. Oh, that's the first thing we're going to admit, God. I don't have the strength to walk away from these dudes. I need for you to create that for me.
Yeah.
And you did.
What was that turning point in prison for you where you were like, you know, we usually have some kind of pain where we're like, and I know you mentioned your mom and your brother, but tell us about that. Like, what was that like turning point where you were like, I need to ask God for help? You remembered what your mom had said. Tell us about that.
So it was like right when my mom died. So when I got to prison, you know, I wrote my mom, hey, Mom, I'm going to the law library. Don't worry about it. I'm coming home. Because that was like what I was telling her, you know, because she was like, oh, my God, you got law. I'm like, nah, I'll be back. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. As soon as I go up here, study all the law books, and I'll be back. She's like, all right, cool. And then so I wrote a letter, and I got it, and it's so crazy. My mom was already in the hospital, but no, you're in reception center, so you don't get the phone, you know? And I got a card that says, love your mom. And my mom, even as a grown man, a convicted murderer, I always called her mommy. And that's how she always signed her cards or her letters, love mommy. And I'm like, love your mom. So I'm pulling out old cards and letters, and I'm like comparing the penmanship. I'm telling my son, like, hey, bro, do you think the same person wrote this? And he's like, yeah, I think so. And I'm like, something ain't right. And so, you know, when you're in reception center, you're just waiting to go to the main line.
Yeah.
You know, that's just the pit. Everybody's like praying every day to leave reception. And so I get called to the counselor's office. that's like the win-win when you're in reception, because you know you're about to get endorsed to a prison. So I'm like, okay, cool. They're like, Spivey, you got to go see your counselor. I'm like, hell yeah. Walked out the room so like stoked, and then like walked back in there like deflated. And so I'm sitting down with my counselor. Shout out Miss McFadden, because she definitely was a key point in me changing my life. And so she was calling my aunt that lives in San Diego, but she said her last name wrong. It's Map, but she said Mapes. And so I was like, wait a minute, something is not right. And so my aunt got on the phone. You know, you can always tell when somebody has something bad to tell you, because they like create like the worst chit chat in the world. She's like, hey, David, how are you? And just something hit me. I'm like, is my mom dead? And she just started crying. She was like, I tried and I was so angry. I just started like hitting myself in the head, like really, really hard. And so after that was done, my counselor told me, don't let my mom's death be in vain, you know? And she was like, you know what I mean by that? I was like, no, just break it down. And she said, well, while your mom was alive, all you did was make her cry. Yeah. All you did was break her heart. So make her smile from the grave. The next day, I signed up for the GED, got my GED in 2 days.
Nice.
I know dudes in prison right now, they're like 20 years in, still in GED class. Yeah. And so I got my GED, and I was just like, dude, I cannot die in here. Like, that was the thing. I cannot die in prison. I do not want to be the old guy in prison telling stories about 20 years ago. Oh yeah, I remember like that shit is so like unimpressive. And I was just like, you know what? Mom, I'm coming home. And then my brother died. And it's like, oh shit. Like, and there's a Jay-Z song I always use as a reference. It's on American Gangster. He said, if I'd have grew up to be a doctor, he said, if I'd have been a doctor, my nephew would have grew up to do the same. And that hit home, because it's like, I made this name as a gang member, and my little brother like followed it all the way to his demise. And here I am, and it's like, you know, the ripple effect of bad decisions. Because here I am right now, you know, changed man, rehabilitated, and my brother's dead, died in his sins because of the footprints and the footsteps that I left for him. Yeah. And so those were the biggest motivating factors. And I was just like, dude. And then also, like, when my mom died and then my brother died, I thought about, you know, the victim of my crime. I thought about their family, and I'm like, dude, the way you feel right now, they feel like this too. You know, when the person's mom makes an extra plate, you know, and they got to remember, like, oh, or they hear a song, it's like, oh, and I'm like, dude, you're responsible for that. So now it's your job to do everything in your power to honor the death of your victim and the death of your mom and your brother, because you contributed to every one of these people being dead today.
Yeah. I want to ask something. It's kind of crazy. Did you send a letter to the victim's mom or something?
I did.
You did.
Yeah, it's a requirement. When you go to parole board in California, you have to write a remorse letter.
So it's not that crazy.
No, it's not. I wrote them. I wrote the family of the deceased. I wrote the victim, the attempted murder victim, and to the police department of Inglewood. Because I was like, you know, for all these years, I just created havoc and chaos. I used to watch the news a lot. So, like, when I started changing, like, because in California, like, the super prerequisite to get out of jail is, like, you have to have insight, empathy, and remorse. You know, because studies show that a person who has insight into why they do what they do are less likely to do it again, because now you understand because a lot of us, we do everything off of impulse. Yeah. You know, it's like, you want to get high or some, you know, the impulse is like, well, I'm sad today. Let me go get high. Yeah. You know, like the guy, oh, I'm angry. Who wants to fight? Who wants to fight? Who wants to fight? You know, and it's all based off impulse. So you have to have a great deal of insight into, you know, your life crime, into your life decisions, what got you into the lifestyle, why you just couldn't just get it correct, how did it lead to this? Yeah. And so I just wrote, watching the news. I remember it was in Orange County, actually. It was in Santa Ana. And some gang members shot up another apartment complex where other gang members, their rivals, usually hang at. And what touched my heart the most is a resident there. You know, the lady, she says, you know, my kids usually play right here. But thank God we weren't here today. She said, but I don't think I'm going to ever let them come outside and play right there again. And for me, my mind started just going down like, dude, wait a minute. That one moment right there has a super duper negative outcome if it, goes that way. Because what if these kids grow up so sheltered that they're afraid of people, or that they grow up hating people? Like, it's a lot of things.
Wow.
I mean, because like,
It's heavy, man.
we grew up, you go outside, you play, you get in a little fight or whatever. 30 minutes later, you ride bikes with each other. But it's like, and that helps you. You start learning how to socialize. You start kind of like understand. Even as kids, we kind of sometimes understand, like, I really can't hang out with this guy right here. Like, you might be a little too much for me. But imagine never having the chance to play with kids, or, everything you're doing is with you and your mom and your sister. And it's like, now what if this young guy is rebellious now? Like, you know what, Mom, I hate you. You sheltered me my whole life. You always kept me in the house. And now he's a gang member, or, whatever. And I just thought about myself, and I'm like, dude, all these years of you gangbanging, you made the world super duper unsafe. I always like to say I was like cancer. I was cancer to society. Yeah. All I did was just deplete.
Yeah.
Deplete. I see you walking down the street, man, what's up with you? Where you from? I'm trying to mess your day up because mine is already messed up.
Yeah.
And that's what it really is. People that hurt people are just really, really hurt.
Yeah. I use that all the time. Hurting people that are hurt people.
Yeah.
If you asked Shane, like, where are you from, he'd be like, oh, I'm from Canada, hey, and so we like to go out and drink some beers.
Oh, yeah. I don't use that voice. That's more Scottish or Danish or something like that. It's kind of feminine. I don't, but yeah.
You didn't like it?
Very similar.
You didn't like my accent?
It wasn't really Canadian.
That was, no?
Now you're talking Canadian.
How?
Right there. You just did it, bro. Do it again.
I don't know.
There you go. You just did it again.
Hey.
That's Canadian. There you
You're
go.
fluent, man.
There you go.
Who would've thought?
There you go.
Right?
There,
Who would've
buddy.
thought? You're
You just gotta
freaking
throw in a
fluent.
little there you go.
Okay.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, holy
Jesus.
smokes. Jesus.
Jesus, Chad, what's your problem?
They don't I just mean like a Canadian would be so oblivious to somebody coming up and being like, where are you from, man?
I'm from Winnipeg, Manitoba. Where are you from, man?
That would probably be the best answer to a gamer, because it would throw them so, like, they probably start looking, hey, cuz, where that's at? Who? y'all bloods? You're like, what the? I have blood in my veins, but, like, no, dude, are you freaking, like,
That doesn't
what the
work.
hell?
Oh, we tried
There's
that. Now, we
this
almost
funny-
got killed a few times doing that in the hood.
Yeah, because you ended up coming down to
I was in
California.
the Hummer of the hood. I lived in the hood. Friendly Manitoba was my license plate, and I was in the hood picking up crack for 18 months. Finally, I was running out of money, and they felt it. The hood felt it, and they were breaking things in my back seat. It was crazy.
So
It got nuts.
What hood were you in?
I was right there in Washington and Collins.
Yeah, he's in Venice.
Venice.
Yeah.
Venice. I'll never forget. I got pulled over by the cops.
Did you have an apartment, or where were you
No,
living?
we're just living in hotels.
That's how it goes.
There was like 1,000 hotels around Washington and Collins there. They all knew me
And you were smoking crack?
every day for 18 months, 22 months, until a cop pulled me over. I was leaving the hood. He pulled me over. He said, "What the fuck are you doing, bro? Friendly Manitoba, you're Canadian, you're driving with these guys. Are you nuts? You park it, you sleep it off. I could deport you right now and take all your property. You sleep now, you check this out, you sleep. I'm going to come back tomorrow. I see you in the neighborhood again, you're gone." I left the city. That was it. That was my warning.
Shout out to people that give breaks, man.
Yeah, that was a cop, bro. He gave me the break. 2 of them. I opened the door, the pipes, the dirt. You know how, man, it was messy.
That'd have been a lot of paperwork for him.
It would have been.
Yeah.
But I swear, man, what year was this?
15 years ago.
Oh,
And
2006.
So like
2006.
drugs were still a felony.
Yes.
See,
Yeah.
and cops, they loved, but
They love felony arrests.
They do.
2006, bro. There was 2 cops in
Did
Santa
you have
Monica.
any crack on you?
Oh, yeah, and pipes, you name it.
Wow.
Everything.
I
everything.
caught a couple breaks. Highway patrol over on the other side of the grapevine.
Oh, they love to get you.
You know what the fuck? My speedometer was broke on my little Toyota truck, and I didn't know how fast I was going. The cop and I was smoking pot though.
Yeah.
Down the road.
Shit.
And he's like, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" And I was like, I guess I was speeding. He's like, "No, you were going too slow."
No. That is fucking hilarious.
I was all stoned.
Bro, my brother got pulled over for that same thing.
Stoned?
Being too slow.
Yeah, well, I was stoned. The thing is that like I had weed and meth in my center console, And he's like, do you have any drugs on you? And I was like, fuck, man, I better say something, right? I was like, you know what? I have some weed. And he's like, can you give it to me? So I opened up the center console. I gave him the weed. He had me get out of the car. I thought right then I was done.
It's over with.
Yeah. Every time anything like that had happened,
Yeah,
You go to
of course.
jail,
I was
right?
done.
Guaranteed.
Exactly.
anytime they said, can you step out of the car?
It's always you
You're
start
fucked.
sweating, you
Yeah,
start
you're fucked.
itching.
Yeah.
I went to jail. He unrolls the bag of weed. He looks at it. He dumps it out, crushed it on the ground, and I was like, "Oh my God, I think I'm getting away this time." He goes, "You know what? You get off at that next exit. You go get yourself a hotel room, and I don't want to see you on the road again tonight."
Right.
And I was like, "Oh."
Fuck, you see that?
He didn't find my, because man, it's like they from back in that day, man. If they found, and we didn't really call it meth back
Right.
then. This is like the 90s.
Yeah.
Still.
Right.
It was called speed.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
speed.
Yeah, lucky break, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always say, for me, how I always look at it is like, you know, like the human part of it is like, oh man, I got lucky, and it's like, no, I like me personally as a spiritual man, I'm always like, I think those are like the confirmation stones to let you know like that God has a bigger purpose for you.
Yeah.
Because there's people who get caught with like a joint and go to jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
everything is like in your favor because God, you have the favor of God. You know, like my case, like people like literally wrote me off, like never gonna see this dude ever again, and that kind of was like super fuel for like me. Like I was like, oh, you guys counting me out? Like, all right, because like one of my character defects is like I don't like to be challenged. So for me, that was a challenge. Oh, you want to write me off? You just, you know, my ex-fiance, she got pregnant by one of the little homies in the hood. I'm like, oh, okay. You did that because you thought I'd never come home again. You know, people slow to send you money or, you know, pick up the phone. And it's like, because I had a cell phone when I was incarcerated. And it's so crazy because a $30 cell phone from Walmart
Yeah.
goes for like $1,200 to $1,800.
Yeah.
It's like, you think like, it was so funny because I would talk to people on the street like, oh, what kind of phone you got? I'm like, I'm brown. I'm like, I got a J1 Galaxy. They're like, what the? And the phone was so old and so cheap that like it would overheat. Like I had to literally like use my brain. I was like, wait a minute, how does the computer not overheat all the time? Is the fan inside? So I would put a fan on my to blow on it all day long, like while I was using it.
Yeah.
Because like I got it charged. I'm on the internet and like, but I would see dudes on Instagram, you know, holding up big things of money, and I'm like, oh cool, I'm gonna call. And I never called and asked for like a lot of money. I'm like, hey bro, can I get a $50 Verizon card? And they were like, oh man, I ain't gonna lie, bro, it's kind of hard. I'm thinking like, bitch, I just seen you on Instagram last night. I looked at the date. It wasn't even an old picture.
Yeah.
And the caption was like, I'm out here getting money. I'm like, what the? And so like, that was kind of like one of the biggest rude awakenings for me too, because I was the dude that was like sold on the illusion of a gang.
Yeah.
Like, man, we're all in with this. Like, I got your back, you got my back. And I'm thinking like, well, I'm going to jail for a gang-related homicide. Like, I know they're going to look out for me. And it's like, no. And I always say, it's so funny. It's very ironic for me that, you know, you turn your back on your family, you're hanging out with everybody else, you're creating this new family, this pseudo family, and you're like, when that doesn't work out, you know, in the back of, I could say my mind, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people's mind, you think like, if I turn around my families, they're gone. They're already gone. They're packed up. They're, you know, everybody that, and the most ironic, beautiful thing about it is that when you turn around, your family's still right there, and they're like, and so like when I was in prison, like shout out my auntie Terry, because she took care of me as if she birthed me, you know, and she was, I tell her all the time, she's the reason I came home, because like when everybody else was trying to focus on getting you know, how I'm gonna take care of myself, how I'm gonna have shoes, how I'm gonna do, I never had to worry about that, you know, like, and it was times I would run her dry, you know, hey, I need a package and I need some store too, and then we got a food sale going on, I want some pop. She'd be like, God damn, dude, what the, you know, but she always came through, so I never had to focus on
The bad stuff in jail.
Yeah, I never had, like, I sold weed and tobacco, but that was just like for selfish reasons, just because, like, you know, wanting more. I was like, I got it. I told you I love Jay-Z, and then he has a song, he says, unnecessary commissary, boy, we lit this shit. And I was like, I need unnecessary commissary. Like, I need so much commissary that this shit doesn't even make sense. And so I did that. It was, it was nothing, but just having my family, having my back, man. And then that I think was one of the biggest things that helped take the scales off my eyes as far as like the gang lifestyle. Cause I'm like, we're not friends. We're not, you're not family. Cause you guys, if it wasn't for my family, I'd be in here doing like extremely bad.
Yeah.
Right.
Or having to put myself in worse situations to try to live cool. Cause I know a lot of dudes in prison that are not really like extremely deplorable guys, but you would think so, but it's really, they're just trying to survive. It's like, I can't leave the game because how am I make some money? How am I do this? How am I take care of kids?
It's like that movie where that was a movie you liked. Did you know the movie I'm talking about?
Which one?
He went to jail. This guy had a wife and a family and a business, and he was defending
you're
his.
talking about
And he became the leader.
Shot caller.
Shot caller, bro.
Yeah.
What movie is this?
Shot caller.
Shot caller. You gotta check it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out tonight.
Really?
It's a white nerdy guy that he's like a business guy,
tech or something or whatever.
like sales broker. He's a broker.
Yeah.
He's out with his wife, his best friend, and his best friend's wife. They're out having some drinks at a bar. They leave the bar. He runs a red light, hits somebody, kills his best friend and the wife. I think.
Yeah, I think something like that.
At least one of the two die. He goes to prison for vehicular manslaughter.
Mm-hmm.
Got like 3 years, 4 years,
Right.
something like that. Goes in. While he's in there, the white guys, like the real white guys,
Right.
they gaffle him up somehow. Anyways, he starts running with them. Gets an extra 10 years added to his sentence
Sheesh.
while he's in there.
Yeah.
I almost let out a whistle, but I didn't want this guy to react.
Yeah. And then after that, I don't want to ruin the movie.
Yeah, don't
for
ruin
you.
it. It's a
It's
great
so
movie.
good.
Yeah, I'm
It's
watching it.
good. Yeah,
Shot caller.
Shot caller.
Yeah.
I
Shot
think
caller.
they have Pelican Bay in it.
Okay,
Yeah.
makes sense.
Does Pelican Bay have the like the workout towers that overlook the cages
In the
in the shoe?
it might have been. You know what? That might have. A lot of times for prison movies, they'll use like Pelican Bay like shots of it and then create their own set.
Yeah.
They use like there's some real stuff in there.
Dude, I know.
So check it out.
All right, I'm gonna check it out.
So yeah, it's a good movie. I really like that. I've watched it twice because I liked it so much.
Okay, you might have to check it out.
So I have a full blown question for you. When did you know that you had a potential to get out?
All right, so, and this is like super duper true right here. Watching the Grammys, no, the Oscars. I was in Pelican Bay State Prison. The movie Glory had just came out about Martin Luther King, about the walk to Selma, and Common is on there rapping the song Freedom, and when he stops, he says, "Let's end mass incarceration." And I'm like, me and one of my best friends was in the cell together, and I was like, "Hey, bro, we going home." He's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Dude, this is like one of the biggest stages in the world, and they're talking about end mass incarceration and shit, right?" And I'm like, if you know anything, when celebrities get behind the calls, it usually goes through. You know what I mean? So I was like, "Hey, you better get your shit together." And he's still in prison right now too. And I talked to him a couple of weeks ago, and he was like, "Man, bro, I wish I would have just got on the same path with you." And when I saw that vid, I'm like, "Nah, I'm out of here." The celebrities are saying they need to end this. All right, let me start getting my shit together now before they tell me what I need to get together. Let me just start doing that on my own. And so used to read San Quentin State Prison. They have their own news paper. And San Quentin is like the jewel of CDCR. Like if you make it to San Quentin, it's kind of like hitting the lotto. They have the most programs. They have the most interaction with like outside. They even have the podcast going up there. The guy ended up getting his case. Well, not his case, but he's home now. He's a lifer, but he's home now. And so I would listen to that on Institutional Channel and stuff like that. And you hear all these guys talking about what it takes to go home. I read in the newspaper. It was like a little leaflet. One of the guys was like, whatever they require of you, do it like 3 or 4 times. So I just knew all right, And I used to tell people all the time, because my gang name was Baby Roscoe. And I used to always say, they'll let David out of prison, but Roscoe, they'll never, like, he has to die.
Yeah.
And so my last murder was killing him off, right? And so, like, went and got baptized, started just, like, reading the Bible all the time. I read 40 Purpose Days of Living or something like that. And read that, got a lot of insight into, like, spirituality. Went to college, started doing, like, vocational classes. And I'll never forget when I went to Ironwood, because a lot of my change, like, the most significant changes happened there besides coming to God. So I'm at Ironwood State Prison. They put me in auto body. I'm like, oh, shit. I don't know shit about auto body. So I go into class. Of course, it's segregated, right? The blacks are all sitting on this side. The Hispanics and white boys are over here. I don't think we had any Asians in the class. If they were, they would have been sitting by the blacks. And I remember this guy, the actual enemy from a rival gang from with my neighborhood. He's like, yeah, man, your ass gonna be back here for like at least 2 years. Like 2 years? Take 2 years to be like, nah, he don't let the blacks do nothing. And so we had like this, our instructor was a white guy, Mr. Pickens. And so I just walked in his office and I was like, hey, if a person, diligently works every single day, how fast can they graduate this class? He was like, about 6 months. I said, I'll see you in 5. So every day I would go in class, I would read a chapter, then I would do the hands-on. And I got really good. I started doing like my own little projects and stuff like that. You got to repair a motorcycle frame. So doing that, learning bondos and stuff like that. Completed the class in 5 months, like I told him. I was the first black guy to ever complete his class in like the last 5 years. And I was like, okay, well, I got one voc under my belt. Let me go get another one. Because I remember that leaflet. Whatever they want, do it 2-3 times. So I was like, all right, cool. So I was like, the first one, I just did it because I was stuck there. Then I did masonry, graduated from that. Then I did building maintenance, graduated from that. But like with the self-help, I was just kind of like, in prison, they call them chrono chasers, right? You got a lot of dudes that are like, know they have to go to the board, so they try to do as many programs as they possibly can to have a, stack of certificates and chronos like this. But most of them don't never internalize the material that is taught, right? So that actually works against you. If you got this many chronos and certificates and you don't know anything about it, it's like, so you're a chrono chaser. So I was like, I started off as a chrono chaser. I was like, I know that I gotta.
I get it.
They
want sincerity. They're looking for sincerity and heart there.
Oh yeah, and they know. What I'm saying? They know.
They know.
They know.
They are really great.
Yeah.
They are. One thing about, and I'll say this about the California parole board, right? It is extremely hard to get out, but it's because they're only going to let the cream of the crop out.
Yeah.
And they're really, really great gaugers of character.
Yeah.
Of course, they're human. Everybody, it's always a hit and miss, but for the most part, like.
But it's kind of on them if they.
Exactly.
If they let out somebody and they reoffend.
Deep thoughts there.
Everybody's afraid of that.
Oh, fuck, I was about to say something. Forgot. Go ahead.
All right. Sorry about that.
No.
But I remember. So
I'm sorry. The one more, 3 more. I like that. That's like that guy that says just one more. What's his name?
Ed Malay.
Ed Malay.
Yeah.
So now they're saying
the power of one more.
Power of one more.
Yeah.
And you picked that up, man. That's good for you.
And I didn't even realize that I was practicing the law of attraction.
Yeah.
Until I read the book, and I was like, oh shit, I've been doing this, right? And it made it stronger once I actually read the book and started understanding more of the key elements of it, of manifestation. Because like I would sit around all day and like envision me being free. I used to drink White Lightning in prison, and it's like moonshine, right? And so I would get drunk, not real bad drunk, like I'd probably get like buzzed or whatever, like that good feeling where you're like, all right, the liquor's kicked in, I'm cool.
Yeah.
And I would put my headphones on, and I would kick my feet up, and I would put my fan on the dresser on the table and let it blow, and I would close my eyes and pretend like I was driving. Mind you, I've never had driven before either, so I was just like, I would just envision that all the time, and I was just like, and I would just do this all the time, like every time I got drunk, I would just do that, man, and I would envision all type of things. And so like I didn't realize that I was practicing these things But like things just kept happening for me. They kept transpiring for me because I was in the law library and I heard these guys talking about a group. It was called ACP, Addiction Counseling Program, right? And so I was like, hey, can I be in that group? And they was like, you got to ask this lady. And this lady was like, her name's Felicia Melchor. And she was really like, she protected self-help classes like they were her children. Like she, no, but she let me in. And so that class right there, I want to say was like where the rubber met the road, because there was a guy named Norton. He was a facilitator. He was the top facilitator in that class. And as we're getting ready, class was getting ready to end, he said, all right, homework assignment is this. What made what you did acceptable? But you can't answer right now. You got to go back to your cell and think about it. And so I went back to the cell and I'm thinking about it. You know, of course, you always come with the surface stuff first. What's the lifestyle? No, that's weak. Because in this class, this is like, they had a rule. They call you out on bullshit. So it's like, Shane says, he's like, I want to call Shane out on bullshit. And then somebody else would be like, yeah, no, I think so too. I think that answer was really bullshit. And like, now you're like super on the spot. And I don't like being on the spot like that. So I was like, I know I can't go in there with that answer. And so I just kept coming up with like all these surface, and then it just hit me. Dude, you're selfish. You said you love your mom. You said you love your brother. You didn't. You didn't love anybody. You didn't really love yourself that much. You just cared about people liking you. That's what made it acceptable, because you were a selfish asshole. And so like saying that out loud to myself, it was like, I felt like, dude, Lord and shit. You know, I was like, oh my gosh. Like I can't continue to just live this life and think like, oh, it's cool, or, you know, offend. Because I had a really bad temper. I was like the Black Tommy Lee sort of, because we had a baseball team, and I'm like cussing dudes out left or right. You stupid, you like, and people just like, man, you get intense when it's time, because I'm like a ultimate competitor, and so like if you miss like a ground ball, I'm like, what the hell? And then like I'll watch MLB and the dude miss a ground ball too, and I'm like, maybe I probably couldn't have cussed that dude out for that, you know. And I remember like I had a homeboy who was like, yo, you're a ticking time bomb. I'm like, nah, man, dudes can't blame me because they're so weak-minded. I'm like, these dudes are supposed to be Crips and Bloods, and they're over here crying about me yelling at them. Like, dude, aren't you in jail for murder, like, you little pussy? And then like I found it just hit me like, if somebody has enough courage to tell you that you offended them, you need to respect that. You need to not offend them no more. You need to make that right. You know, you don't need to shoo off somebody, because especially for men, especially in a situation like that, it's really hard for somebody to walk up and be like,
especially
hey,
in a situation
right.
like that.
Yeah.
Hey Shane, the other day when you yelled at me, it really like
hurt my feelings.
Yeah,
bro.
like, and I wasn't respecting dudes saying that to me.
How long were you in for?
I don't like it when
15 years.
15 years. So 17 to 15.
Yes, 17 to 32.
32.
Yes, sir.
Shit.
And, I mean, so is it more amazing? Which part's more amazing? Is it more amazing that you had a 50, how many years?
58 years to life.
58 years to life, and you got out in 15.
That was super amazing.
Or just the fact that you got out of a life sentence, period.
So both, because I mean, but the getting out still young enough to do something with myself, as opposed to just getting out kind of old and just being like, you know, I'm just gonna take it easy. You know, like what I did was very much unheard of, because I got my sentence commuted by Governor Brown. And I remember when I first heard about a commutation, I don't know how I even heard about it, but I was like reading it. I'm like, I gotta probably be like super duper extraordinary. So I like got my mind set on like trying to start a nonprofit organization from prison and doing that. I'm like, that's the only way they're gonna let me out. That's the only way they're gonna let me out. And then shout out Scott Budnick and ARC, because he definitely changed the prison culture in California. And he's a big time movie producer. The Hangover movies.
Yeah, great movies.
Yeah.
What was the crime again?
Mines?
Yeah.
Murder in the first degree, conspiracy to commit first degree murder, attempted murder.
So murder in the first degree, what is that exactly?
Premeditated.
So
I'm like, okay, you know what? After this show, I'm gonna kill Shane. Like,
yeah, right.
That's premeditated.
Yeah.
So,
So
I
you
had
were
like it's even worse than that. You knew before you came to the show
that I was gonna kill him.
So you were convicted of that?
Yes.
With a gun?
Yes.
Crazy shit.
Yeah.
50. I mean, just getting convicted. I mean, I would have passed out. at the courtroom. 100 years. I'm like, what? Like I'd have just fucking.
I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter if it's 58 to
Exactly.
life, or if it's 15 to life, or it's 17 to life, or it's 25 to life. Anytime you have a life sentence,
it's like, damn.
Like most people don't get out.
Yeah.
I do know a lot. There is a lifer program now.
It is.
And I do know a lot. There's a lady in Orange County named Nancy Clark, and she actually has set up a transitional program for lifers.
Yeah.
And she gets paid from from the state to, I think they do 6 months, or I think
it just depends on. So 6 months is usually like the mandatory for like lifers.
Yeah.
Even if you could be married, your family can like literally be like, yo, we're gonna buy him his own house. They're like, nah, he still's got to go to transitional housing, because and a lot of times like lifers, oh shit, man, I don't want to go to halfway house. And it's like, dude, you really do need, like, once I got out and I was like, okay, this shit is very necessary for life.
It is. It's just like the army or military, bro. You gotta, when you get out,
well,
you gotta
and they're not doing a very good job there.
No,
either.
they're not. That's why you were smart to take that move.
I mean, honest to God, just our regular prison system, whether you're a lifer or not, some type of transitional back into,
you need that
reintegration back into society.
Exactly.
It would be very helpful, because think about regular prison guys, and the recidivism rate is horrible. Like what, like 80% at least.
Yeah.
At least that's what the last time I checked. So these guys, they get their $200 gate money.
Right.
They get out, and then they get on a bus.
Yeah.
Guess who's waiting for them at the bus stations?
All type
Guys
of bad
that
shit.
sell drugs.
Right.
Because guess what? There's a bunch of guys showing up with $200.
Well, no, mine is $200 because you use part of that $200 to buy your bus ticket.
So whatever it is.
So you don't even have a whole $200 anymore.
Yeah.
And then most guys stop to get cigarettes. So
gotta
that's
get
gone.
some cigarettes. I would need some fast food.
Of course.
A fucking burger.
Yeah.
Burrito, something that I haven't been able to eat in a while. You know how good, like, just like fucking Jack in the Box?
I was so hungry I stole my Bunky's crackers.
I mean,
I'm glad you didn't get caught for that.
No, I didn't get caught. I stole his crackers. He was collecting
your
crackers.
way out?
That's like one of the worst
No,
things you
bro.
can get caught for
Oh,
doing
yeah.
in jail,
No,
stealing.
Oh,
the
yeah.
night of, he got shipped out. He was in medical. I was in there for 7 nights. He was in medical, and he had some crackers and peanut butter. And I just took.
are you confessing?
I took a couple, bro. I took a couple crackers and I apologized. Okay, I was fucking starving.
You feel better now that you got
I
the...
just remembered now when you guys started talking about food or whatever. Yeah, shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a sad thing for me, because the first time I went to jail, I was 18 years old, and I'm gonna give you like a very quick, brief background of me. I grew up in private schools.
Okay.
In a little town called Loma Linda.
Okay.
I was also Seventh-day Adventist.
Okay.
And the community that I lived in, there was no racism. My school was like probably pretty close to 50% white people, but we also had a lot of black people. We had a lot of Hispanic people. We had a ton of Filipinos and Koreans and Chinese people.
Okay.
So that was my class. My class was literally like the United Nations.
I was just going to say the UN.
Yeah, that's what it was like. So I didn't even know racism existed. And I went to jail for a little tiny fucking piece of meth when I was 18 years old. 90 days in the county jail.
Can't hang out with the blacks. You bet not do this.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So my bunkie was black. So you didn't get to choose where you slept in San Bernardino County. Like, in Orange County, they don't put you, they segregate you. So even if my bunk was with the black guy, they would have moved me over
exactly.
And then anyway, so this one, and I didn't know the rules. And I had some commissary and my bunkie's like, "Can I get a cookie?" And I was like, "Yeah, here's a pack." I gave him a whole pack of cookies. The white rep saw that.
Hey, come here.
Yep. I got schooled right there.
Really?
I couldn't share a cookie with my fucking bunkie.
Nope.
Wow.
It's crazy, right? It's insanity.
Yeah.
It really is. And it's like, it's so funny too about like racism for me. I'm always like, because we're all are way more alike than we are different. You know what I mean? And it's like, for the most part, the people that spew racism are like people who already feel bad about themselves. So it's like, it's the misery loves company thing. It's like, I'm miserable. I don't want you two dudes to be like kicking it with blacks and with Hispanics, because then I'm really be alone. And I'm like, no, we don't do that, man. We make sure we preserve our race. And it's like, how the hell is giving some cookies away or eating a burrito with this dude is gonna like bring my race down? Whether you're black, white, Mexican, Chinese, like it doesn't matter. Like, but it's all these little fences in the way of life. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's not until you get out of that mind state, bro, like it's like life, you really start like, once I changed my life, I actually got to start enjoying life.
Yeah.
Because when I had this war, oh man, cuz from over here, and man, fuck them white boys up. Like, life was just really bad.
Yeah.
And once I started being like, oh shit, what's up, Shane? Like, what you doing today, man?
Positivity started breathing.
Yeah.
Great.
Makes you feel better.
Positivity.
Yeah. Always does.
Is there racism in Canada?
Oh, yeah.
There is?
Oh, yeah. But we're really a mix, too, because we have all the Europeans come to Canada.
Right.
Yeah.
From after the war, so it's a lot of Polish, Ukrainian, German, French.
And they don't even like each other, huh?
No.
Specific.
A lot of Slavic.
Okay.
A lot of Slavic. A lot of,
people from Yugoslavia.
Well, Yugoslavian, just, Yugoslavia, but not Poland, Russia.
Well, my grandpa is from Canada, but he's actually from Denmark.
Denmark.
My dad's dad, is Danish. So, and then his mom was Ukrainian, and they both immigrant into Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And then my dad is an American immigrant from Canada, which is funny to me because are you really an immigrant if you're coming from Canada? But you are,
right?
Yeah, you are. You are.
Like we're not having border issues up on the Canada side,
right?
We're just having them down here. He's a Canadian immigrant. He's actually an American citizen. I give him shit all the time just because he's from Canada, and I have a lot of family from Canada, and they all talk really funny.
As you keep talking about Canada, it makes me think about South Park.
When they first great. Yeah.
Blame Canada.
Yeah.
Blame Canada. Like, oh, okay. As a kid, I'm like, oh, I don't think we're supposed to like Canadians. All right. I like it.
I always say I don't like Canadians.
Yeah, you do.
I do like. I like your mom.
Do you?
Yeah. I like your mom.
You too.
I like your brother.
Yeah.
I think your brother, I like him more so because you've scared me into liking him.
Oh, yeah.
I have this fear that your brother's going to kick my ass.
He could. He could kick both our asses at the same time.
At the same time.
Oh, yeah. Even if we'd have to cripple him. That's the thing. You got to cripple him, and then he'd crawl with his hands.
Right.
Yeah,
still
still
kick
coming.
the
Terminator.
He's like that guy. Yeah, like the
guy.
Terminator.
Yeah,
right.
The
Exactly.
Terminator still coming
I'll
for you.
never forget. That's how I fought him. He was on the ground, and he would be crawling. His leg would be hurt, and he'd be, I'm going to fucking kill you when I can get up. You just wait when I can stand. Bro, I just beat the shit out of you. I don't give a fuck.
And plus, some of those Canadians, they play hockey, man.
Dude.
Bale hay.
No, Canadians are really tough because if you think of hockey is you skate around for 5 minutes and then you get into this super duper fight, like a bar fight.
Yeah.
And then you get to come do it again.
I'll tell you the next great sport is with the ball.
Fishing.
No, with the ball. Lacrosse, bro. They're allowed to fight too.
Yeah.
That is a fucked up sport.
And rugby.
No. I'm going to go lacrosse more because lacrosse,
Really?
they actually take their gloves off and they stand toe-to-toe with their hands.
damn.
And they're throwing.
They still have their helmets on?
I don't think so. I think
I know. They just wear a cap helmet, though.
Yeah,
They
I
don't wear,
think they take it
face
off.
things.
Yeah, it's
'Cause
like
in
the
hockey,
old NFL.
Yeah.
we take ours off in hockey. If you're polite, you undo it and you take it off, you put it down, and you start the fight.
Really?
Oh,
not in professional hockey though. They just throw blows and nothing happened. They're punching They wear face masks now.
Still pretty good, bro.
Is
They're
it
good.
real
Knock
hockey? Do you
people
ever
out.
watch real hockey?
Oh yeah.
Who's your team?
I just like players.
The Winnipeg.
No, I don't really. Like
That's where I thought that
I'm really looking for this new guy, this new kid that's coming out, this new first-round draft choice. He's supposed to be since Gretzky, no players come out like this guy.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens when it starts, September, October.
If I do have a hockey team, it's the Kings.
Yeah.
Because
That's just mine by default too.
Yeah, mine too.
I'm
I go Kings, Lakers. You're from LA, right?
Yeah.
Kings, Lakers.
Anaheim
But
Ducks.
you can't like the Dodgers, right?
I do like.
Oh, you do
no,
like
no,
the
because
Dodgers?
I'm not an Orange County guy.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm a Inland Empire guy.
Okay.
And we were way more Dodgers than Angel. I don't like the Angels. I'm a Dodger guy, and
I knew I liked you.
Raiders.
Now I don't like you anymore.
Who are you?
I'm an Eagles fan.
Oh well.
Can we get your brother up here?
I don't do football. Mind you, I want to do this guy.
He's Canadian.
Detroit is doing really good. They've had that first great game.
Oh, but but last night, Aaron Rodgers doesn't even get to complete a pass for the New York Jets.
Yeah.
I didn't get to watch Stephen
Are
A.
they gonna
Smith
pay
this
him?
morning, but isn't that Stephen A. Smith's team, the New York Jets?
He's a Giants fan.
He's a Giants fan.
So he doesn't have anything to say anyway because they got donut by the Cowboys.
Yeah, they suck. Yeah, they did, didn't they?
Yeah.
It was bad.
Yeah.
But they had, dude, all this the New York Jets, dude. They never win.
No.
Never.
They never
No.
win. It's like there's something cursed.
They can't get a break since Joe Namath.
Yep.
Yeah, and freaking.
I think that was the curse.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers was supposed to be
Jesus.
The
the
savior.
savior.
They even did the hard knocks about the Jets.
Yeah.
Like that's all. Like my little cousin, that's all he was. He's like,
Yeah.
man, they're gonna be sick, and I'm just
Yeah.
like,
I mean, they
maybe, but
They still won last night.
Oh, they did.
that rookie,
Is he good?
he's amazing.
Who knows? It could be his time, bro. This could be God here shining on this kid.
I mean, because Aaron Rodgers is probably. I haven't seen
No,
the
he's
news
out.
since
He's
this morning,
old.
but
He's old.
They were saying a torn Achilles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, he's old. He's not going to heal from that. No.
No, I think his career's over.
Yeah, I
At
agree.
his age.
Yeah.
I think his move was just like a F you to the Packers.
Yeah.
That's why he just didn't retire.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? F you guys. Since
Yeah.
you want to.
Well, he could have 2 years, like what's his name did in Tampa.
Oh, Brady?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Brady didn't have Aaron had a lot of injuries his whole career. Like
Yeah.
holding the ball too long. It's like, bam, he's like getting carted off. Then he's coming back, throwing like a Hail Mary. It's like, oh, we won. But it's like, yeah, but you're losing, dude, because you're like really like internally messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're sitting in your jail cell. You're doing all this work. You get the call. You're getting out.
So no, I go to court for a Franklin hearing, right?
Yeah.
That's to set the stage for my I think at the time it was like maybe 13 years away, my juvenile board hearing, YOP hearing, so it's youth offenders parole hearing. The lady's like, my paralegal, she's like, yo, you're one of the type of people they want to let out of jail. She's like,
They
there's nothing gonna
want
hold.
to?
Yeah, she's like, there's nothing gonna hold you back, is it? And I'm like, no, I'm really cool. But I still was like with the gang. So I was like, and I had a cellie, this old dude from Compton. Shout out Robert Thomas. And he was a lifer too, and he used to always be like, you gotta get away from them dudes. And when she said that, I could just hear him in my ear, like, you gotta get away from them dudes. And I was like, no. So as soon as I went back, I just called a meeting like, hey, look, man, I love you guys. Got it tattooed on my skin. But I gotta do what's best for me now. And everybody's like, oh no, it's cool. Lost some non-friends, people that I thought were cool. And once I was like, nah, I gotta step back, they're like, nah, we don't talk to this dude anymore, which was a very much blessing for me. But I have 2 friends too that are former lifers. Well, one is we call him a fake lifer because he only had 31 years. And so he always likes to be like, yeah, I was a lifer. Like, no, you weren't. You weren't a lifer. You would have just got out really, really old, my boy Keith DeShield and Dominique Tanks. And so I come back from court, and I thought these dudes were about to jump me because they're like, dude, you put in your commutation paperwork yet? I'm like, nah. He's like, man, you got to put it in. Stop playing. I'm like, all right, God damn. Like, all right, I'll put it in. So I ended up getting transferred from C Yard in Ironwood back to D Yard. And so I was working on it. Of course, I'm thinking like, dude, it's got to be super perfect. And so it took me maybe two months to put the whole packet together. And so then it became really, really stressful because it's like, I'd never had really great luck with the court system or anything like that. So I'm like, even though this wasn't the court, but it was like, there's probably chances I'm not gonna get this. And but I'm not gonna voice it. I'm just gonna like keep that to myself. And
What do they say the turnaround time is on these things?
That's the thing. I know dudes who've been waiting for like 2 years to hear back for a commutation. And so at the time, Brown was he was commuting sentences like during major holidays. But so the first step is actually getting the application. I've known dudes who wrote for the application, never got it back. They never gave them an application for commutation. So that was the first step. I passed that one. Okay, cool. Then I filled out the application for commutation. Then now you're just waiting.
Now, if you want to find out the rest of the story, please join us tomorrow. No, I'm joking. Go ahead.
So you have to get interviewed by an investigator for the board.
Yeah.
And so I got that interview. Now you really waiting.
Fuck.
And dude, there was this dude named Abel. He got his sentence commuted. Like, I was like, oh shit, he's gonna probably be the other one. This little Hispanic kid caught a case with his dad and his brother. Never got in trouble in jail. Was working in the program office around all the COs. Everybody loved him. Felt bad for him. He had chronicles from captains and lieutenants. I'm like, yeah, he's the only person gonna get his shit done. And I never forget, dude. I was like hella sad one night. And I was just prayed before I went to sleep, like, God, I need some good news. Wake up in the morning, playing chess. Guard calls me like, hey, at 11:30, you got a phone call in the program office. And it was the governor's representative letting me know that my sentence was being commuted. And I was like, oh, hell yeah. I was like, but then the real work begins because now you got to go to parole board. You have to be found suitable. Yeah. Just getting your sentence commuted is not your freedom ticket.
Yeah.
It's just giving you meaningful action at parole. It's not a guarantee that you will be paroled. So I went to parole board the first time, got denied for 3 years.
Whoa. Holy fuck. You got commuted from the governor's office. You went to the parole board, and for 3 years you got fucked up?
Yeah, so they denied me for 3 years. They say, we're going to deny you parole for 3 years. But there's a caveat to that, right? That's the lowest that they can, by law, deny you. But if you have an exceptional case, they can bring you back faster than that.
Right.
And you'll know that that's what they're doing when you start hearing the commissioner talks, because it's a commissioner and a deputy commissioner, and then it's a DA representative. They're there to oppose or whatever. And so they were like, look, you're so close. You're in the 5-yard mark. You can cross the plane. Don't fumble. Don't fumble is like, don't get in any trouble after we just tell you this stuff right now, or
you're fucked.
Yeah. And you deserve to be fucked after that,
bro.
So I was like, I went back. Dude's like, man, what happened? I was like, dude, they denied me. And people were more sad than me. And they was like, man, that's fucked up. They could have. And I was like, no, if I'm going to be honest, there's still things that I need to work on myself. And so I took that time to work on it because I'm like, when I come home, I want to come home like my best version.
Yeah.
You know, I want to come home still kind of angry, still kind of like institutionalized on like dumb shit. So that ended up allowing me to go to a level 1. And I was like, oh shit. Everybody's like, how'd you go? How are you going to? I was like, dude, I don't even know. And I was like, yo, I'm really a level 1 killer. Cause like in jail, they always say like the dudes on a level 1, cause they're like, those are the guys with like a year, 8 months. And they're like walk around like they're like
super hard.
I'll fuck you up for whistling at me. It's like, no, you won't. You got a soft shoe chrono, dude. You're not going to fuck nobody up. You're here for petty theft. And so I got to go to a level 1. And I'm like, I told my boy, I was just joking. And I was like, yo, I'm really a level 1 killer now. He's like, oh shit, you are. And like,
you're going to run that fucking yard.
Yeah. So like that though was like one of the biggest tests to see if I can be in society because dude, they just run amok.
That's what I was going to say. Aren't they running amok in there?
All
like you can,
day
it's so easy,
long.
so easy to get in trouble in there.
Yeah. And I almost got in trouble in there because like I came and I was like, no, this dorm is like no structure. Like, we're going to change that up. So somebody like decided to drop a kite on me right in the program office. And they're like, yeah. But they tried to do it to where they said that my life was in danger. And so the CO, the lieutenant's talking and he's telling me, I'm like, and he's like, well, I could tell from that look that that's definitely, I'm like, definitely not true. And I'm like, look, I've walked the yard with real boogeymen and I never feared for my life. I damn sure didn't come here and start fearing for my life. Like, nah, I slapped shit out of all these dudes. And he's like, all right, cool, man. Sign a paper, say that you don't fear for your life. Signed the paper. Went back to board in 18 months. That was the half the 3 years. I actually thought I was going to get found suitable on the first time. The second time, I just knew I was going to get denied. I had like this really, really tough commissioner. She was a female and she just did not play. And she's like, I'm talking and she's like, I'm like, oh shit. This is like right before Christmas. The victim's family was supposed to be at the board hearing. She had just talked to him like 10 minutes ago and then she couldn't get in contact with them. And my heart's racing like, oh shit. Like what better gift to give to the family of the victim than deny me parole around Christmas?
Yeah.
Like I found suitable, waited another 4 months because you have to go through the process of they review your board decision with all the commissioners in California to make sure that like maybe, I guess to see if somebody could have paid somebody off. They're like, nah, this dude shouldn't be paroled. After that, if you have a murder, the governor gets an extra 30 days. So because of COVID, they were kind of like trying to speed a lot of the process up. So the board usually has 120 days to review. They only took 90 for me. And the governor, he reviews, but for the most part, if he's going to let you go, he'll just let it sit on his desk for 30 days, let the time run out. And so it's like he didn't take action. And he usually denies like cop killers, people that mess with kids or anything like that, or anybody part of the Manson family. And so I'll never forget the day they told me I was going home. I let out one of the movie with Mel Gibson.
Freedom!
Yes. That was most definitely me.
You screamed it?
Freedom!
Yeah, I didn't scream freedom, but I screamed loud. I was like, I'm not even going to do it because it'd probably break everybody's ears, but it was really, really like, I just could not believe it, dude.
Good for you. Bro, going in at 17, 32 years old. That's a haul, bro.
It's a long time, but what's better about it though is that it was a short time.
In retrospect, yeah.
Yeah, you still have a whole fucking life ahead of you.
Right. Yeah, man. And I tried it. That's why I use like, on my YouTube channel, I always try to tell the kids like, look, don't use your youth to your detriment. Use it to your benefit. There's no such thing as like, well, I'm just going to keep fucking up until I'm 21 and then I'm just going to stop. I just want to get it out of myself. Like, dude, that's not how it works. Humans, we're creatures of pattern and habit. If you keep messing up now at 12 and by 21, your mind's going to tell you you've mastered this shit.
Yeah.
You're going to think like, oh, I can steal some money from this guy. He'll never know. I can smoke crack in the house and my mom will never figure that out. No, it doesn't work like that, So I tell people all the time, look, because a lot of my followers are teenagers, they're kids. And I always say, look, use my mistakes like they're yours. You don't have to go to prison. I already did that for you.
Yeah.
You don't have to get into all these fights. I've done that for you. Now what you have to do is be your best self. And that's a decision that you have to make every single day.
Yeah. That's the only advice.
Yeah.
All you have to do is say that to someone every day. That's all they got to do.
You got to make that because a lot of people, even in prison, like a lot of people think like, all right, well, I'm not getting high anymore. But it's like, no, you got to choose every day not to get high. You got to choose every day. Like for me, I had to choose every day not to backslide into the gangs.
Yeah.
And, I had to talk to myself because when I came home, I was like, dude, I remember sitting in my bunk and I was like, when you get out, everybody's going to act like they just missed you so much. They loved you. And I'm like, it's fake. Do not take the bait. And as soon as I got out, oh, what's up, cuz? I'm like, nope. So they're like, I want to see you. So I said, okay, meet me at the gym. That's the only place we can hang out is at the gym. Nobody showed up except for one guy. And me and him are really, really cool now. And because of like my life experiences and like he calls me for advice and stuff like that, he's been able to separate himself. He owns his own trucking company now. You know what I mean? Like, and he always tells me like, bro, you've helped me out way more than I've ever helped you out. Because he got me clothes, give me some money and shoes. Yeah. But he's like, that shit is peanuts to what you've done for me.
Yeah.
And because I knew dudes don't want to work out. I'm fresh out. I'm like going crazy in the gym. I'm like, no, nobody wants to do that. These dudes want to keep getting high. They want to keep doing it. They're not going to meet me in the gym.
No.
But that was the beauty of it. I had to like strategize the moment I knew I was going to come home.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to like, oh man, what? Hey. And you're like, I knew these dudes were my boys, man. Like, no, they're not. They know who you are. And they're going to exploit the hell out of that. They know the last time they saw you, you just didn't give a damn about shit. And that's what they love.
Yeah.
Not you.
Yeah.
They love that because they don't have the balls to do that shit. But they know your crazy ass will. So they're embracing that mindset, not the person.
Yeah, you have to cut all those people out of your life, man. You gotta cut. You gotta cut anybody that's negative out of your life.
Facts.
You know, you want a better life. Look at the people that you're hanging out with.
Exactly.
Are those people going to help you get to that better life?
No.
You know, like,
show me your friends, I'll show you your future.
And I used to think that was like one of the most corniest things I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Until I started really like looking at it, and I was like, damn.
Yeah, it's true.
Like when I was hanging out with gangbangers, I was always doing gangbanging shit.
Yeah, man.
I started hanging out with dudes like I said, like my two buddies that were like, matter of fact, like mostly all of my friends now,
Jail.
they're all convicted. Like, damn, you know what? Everybody's damn near convicted for murder or attempted murder, but like everybody got out and hit the ground running and like doing super. Like my friend Keith, he learned how to computer code in prison. He works for Cash App.
oh, nice.
Yeah, my friend Dominique. He works for ARC. He heads he even worked with the LA mayor, the new mayor on her campaign.
So a lot of lifers or people that have done, you know, a significant time in prison. Did you know that when you come to like an employment, I hire felons all the time, but if you come here, right, and we do a background check on you, just a regular old employment background check, nothing shows up.
Exactly, because they only go back 7 years.
Yeah.
And I tell people that all the time. And I'm like, dude, when was your conviction? They're like, 13 years ago. Are you good?
Yeah,
don't even worry about it. California goes back 7 years. I'm like,
7
for
years.
real?
Yeah.
Like, dude, I work in a hospital. What do you like? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I work around nurses and psychologists.
The
and
only
shit.
time I have two places that I can't hire convicted felons, and they're mental health facilities here, and everybody has to be fingerprinted to work there. Those are the only ones.
Right.
The rest of them, I prefer to have a convicted felon working for me. You know, that's changed their life.
Right.
Because people who, have beat an addiction problem or some other behavioral health problem, they seem to be very disciplined. They seem to show up on time. They seem to work really hard. They seem to take pride in their work.
Yep.
They seem to do a good job.
Yep. Because they understand what this opportunity means to them, as opposed to, I can go get another job. It doesn't, like, no, like, dude, this is, especially when it's a really great job. It's like,
yeah.
Some of my best employees, the guy that came upstairs to get me to tell me you guys were here. He's from a huge gang in L.A.
okay,
Big one.
I figured that.
He's done probably
I think 30.
30,
Right.
20, 22.
22 or something, yeah.
Yeah. Pete, one of my drug and alcohol counselors downstairs.
He met him.
Yeah.
Pete?
Yeah.
Uh huh.
Oh, but the mustache?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Oh, so Pete's done like 30.
That's what I thought you were talking
Oh, no,
about.
I was talking about Johnny. Johnny came up.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about
Yeah,
Pete,
Johnny's the one who
'cause
came up.
I introduced him to Pete. You're right, Johnny.
okay.
Johnny did, yeah.
Johnny came up and grabbed me, and he's like, yeah, you have some guys here, and I was like, yeah, I know. Both of them though. Pistol Pete, he was on our podcast, so I could tell a little bit of his story.
Yeah.
He started a gang in
Los Puentes or something?
La Habra.
La Habra.
La Habra.
Yeah.
It's still a huge active gang,
Yeah.
like a big gang in La Habra.
Yeah.
And he's like the the grandfather,
Right. The godfather of
the
it.
godfather of it.
Pistol fucking Pete.
Yeah.
That's what it is on my phone too, Pistol Pete.
He found God, man, in prison.
Yeah.
And he was tired of that lifestyle. He didn't have a life sentence, but he was still on a long sentence, and he when they offered him a SAP program, and he had
Was he in Ironwood?
probably.
Because I have my alcohol and drug study specialist 1 and 2, and a lot of people within Ironwood, and they had the SAT program there. They had it at a couple other prisons, but a lot of the guys were doing it there and then going to become like the OMCP program, the Offender Mentor Counseling Program.
It was either that or what was the other one? God, I can't think of it.
I don't
drawing a
know.
blank
I don't know.
on the other.
I have
I used
no
to, when I first got in this business, there was it was in the early 2000s, and they had that's when when they started the SAP programs in prison, and then they had another program for when you got out. If you've completed the SAP program in prison, they had SASCA, is what it was called. And I worked, my very first program that I ever worked at was a SASCA program, and we had all kinds of guys coming out of prison and doing that. So just real quick before we got to end soon, but I just want to know, I want our viewers and your viewers to know what you're doing with your life today.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, I'm dedicating my life to change, and I'm doing that as a living amends to the victim of my crime as well as their families. I'm just trying to show people that just because you made a mistake doesn't mean you have to live in it, lie in it, or be defined by it. You know, I have my own YouTube channel, Real Recognized Real Podcast. I threw the podcast out there because I'm manifesting this one day. And so I always just try to help the kids. Like, I have messages, like comments when it's like, dude, you changed my life.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was on drugs before I started listening to the Mental Health Mondays.
Yeah.
You know, the Dear Yous, before I was listening to your content. So I do that. I'm encouraging people at every level. It doesn't matter where I meet you at. If I meet you on YouTube or if I meet you at Starbucks, I'm just trying to be change in the world. I just started the clothing line, Stay Great Above Hate. It's an anti-bullying brand. I actually drew this in prison when I had life in prison because I always wanted a clothing line. I was like, it would just help me kind of escape and everything like that. Yeah. And then I also work with in the mental health profession. Actually about to start going to school pretty soon to become an RN, and working on getting my record expunged, and just trying to be the man, working every day to be the man that my mom sacrificed her life for, you know, being the man that my little brother could have had to allow him to be a better person. I'm working every single day to make my family proud. I'm working hard every day to make the people that allowed me to be in a free chair proud, you know, that their investment wasn't a waste. You know, that's what I'm doing every single day, man. Just trying to be the change in the world that I want to see.
I like that.
And a shout out to your uncle for giving you a step up there with that. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Yeah, man.
I just told him that the other day. I'm like, dude,
that's huge.
Thank you so much, because like the private security kind of ended abruptly.
Yeah.
And I was just like walking through the house the other night, and I was like, what the hell would I even be doing right now? And I knew it wouldn't be anything that meaningful. You know, like I get to sit with people that have, you know, these problems with themselves.
Life-changing job.
Yeah,
Life-changing
man.
job.
Yeah, we got a guy that we just went to an event on Saturday. And the guy also, his name's Anthony Brown.
Yeah.
And he went from
23
what?
Years.
23 years in prison.
Yeah.
Or in homelessness.
Homelessness.
But his homelessness was he was selling drugs on the corner of the street in Costa Mesa.
Oh, okay.
And in and out of jail and prison for many years. And 17-time convicted felon.
Yeah.
He's a nurse.
24 years sober.
And I'm glad that I heard that.
He's a nurse.
Yeah. I'm really glad that I heard that, because that's something that's been in the back of my head. Like, I was, you know, I looking stuff up, researching. I really don't, keep it real with you, I really hate researching stuff sometimes, because it's kind of like a dream killer, because you'll see something and it's like, oh, I can't do it. And it's like, yeah, you can. You could be the first.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad to have heard that.
I think you should keep that attitude, because you can be the first.
I'll tell you you can be 100%. I'm gonna get Anthony Brown's. I'm gonna get him to talk to you, Anthony.
Yeah.
Okay,
you should
perfect.
get connected with Anthony Brown. He's he wrote a book from Park Bench to Park Avenue.
Yeah.
And friggin' ended up somehow Dr. Drew Pinsky got a hold of his book. And so that's why, I mean, we were at this event because we have one of our hosts, our podcast host, is Natalie Eva Marie from the
I'm a big wrestling fan.
Okay, so you know her.
Yeah.
Well, damn, we'll have you when next time she comes down for a week. We'll have her meet you.
I would love that. Yeah. And it's crazy that you say talk about the book, because that's another thing that I've been doing with my life. I have a book coming out September 17th, which is the anniversary of my little brother's his birthday. So I wanted to honor that. It's called Dreams of Incarceration, and it's by Killian Dunn. And so that comes out, today is what, the 12th? So in 5 days. So for me, that was like super duper big because I'm like, who the hell's gonna write a book about me? You know what I mean? Like, I want to write a book, but I'm like, who would want to just sit down and use their free time to write about me? And so I hope that people get this book and they see, you know, like what all three of us see and know that just because a person has done some things that are not great, you know what I mean, very evil, deplorable, doesn't mean that's who that person is.
Right.
Prison, I mean, you hire, you know, convicted felons all the time. Prison is full of people who've made mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't mean that they're evil because it can be the most evilest person could be a lawyer or a doctor or a judge,
Man,
you know.
There's some politician.
Exactly. So it's like,
can we go there?
It's like, don't, you know, because the biggest thing for a convicted felon is that we have to wear this scarlet letter on our shoulder for the rest of our lives. But I want people to see, hey, take that off, man, because that's not who you are anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what I want people to see with me and with all the other brothers and sisters that have made bad and poor choices with their lives but decided to change it around. Let's give these people a leg up. Let's help these people because these people already show that they're determined to be the best version of themselves. And if you give these people a chance, you will never regret it.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
I don't regret somebody watching somebody's life. Like I you know, like Johnny will probably work for me forever, man. He's been here for like 5, 6, 7 years, something like that. Pete, the other guy, he's been with me since like 11 or 12 years. You know, and he started as like at the bottom as a support staff. Now he's the lead drug and alcohol counselor for my biggest program, Hope by the Sea. So
that's really dope, man. And I want to salute you because a lot of people don't have the courage that it takes to hire a next felon, because it takes a great amount of courage because people, I mean, and maybe it's because of your background, but it's like a lot of people, you know, you hear felon, you hear convicted, you hear somebody's been in jail. You're always watching them. You're always, you know, do it. I used to work for Caltrans, and I despised that job. It felt like I was back in prison. Like they would sneak diss me in like safety meetings, like, oh, well, you know, this isn't prison, you know, this isn't Pelican Bay. And I'm looking around like, I'm the only person who's been in Pelican Bay. We're talking about
That's funny.
hedging trees today. You know what I mean? But it was like the moment that they found out that I was a convicted murderer, it was like, dude, like barrier after, like everybody. I remember my supervisor telling me, oh, you know, dudes don't know what they can say to you. They don't want to offend you. And I'm like, so I'm getting in trouble because I'm working with a bunch of pansies? Like, you know, like I'm not walking around telling people like, you better watch what the fuck you say or that's your, like, no, dude, I'm just here to do a job. I'm just trying to give my, you know what I mean? Like, and also like shout out to me because I got off parole in a year.
Oh, nice.
Off a lifer's parole.
Yeah.
In 1 year, like nothing. Like, and cause I was determined, dude. I was just like every single day, hey man, you want to, no, I'm cool. And like, that's one of the biggest things I want the viewers, both mine and yours, to know, like, do not have a problem saying no.
I mean, a lot of highly successful people like myself or like Shane or, you know, and I built myself up from nothing. I grew up in a really nice family. When I got clean and sober, I had a negative 500 bank account. I was a convicted felon myself. And I have a lot going for me. What was my point?
Not sure yet. I was waiting for it.
No. My point is that like, when you get to the top, it's like there are no more bros. Like, there's no homies up here.
No,
right.
I'm not like chilling. I got my wife. I got my kids. I mean, Shane and I don't really even hang out except for at work or an event.
Yeah, we shoot text back
Even
and
like
forth.
when like we went to like an event out in Palm Desert and had to stay out there, and we did go to dinner.
We went
lunch
once,
a couple
yeah.
times. Yeah, we went to one dinner. That's the dinner we had to go to.
We had to.
The lunch we went to lunch because we had to eat.
It was
right?
just me and you for lunch?
Yeah.
Just two of us?
No.
Did we talk?
No.
No.
We don't do that
No,
shit.
we don't do that shit. Unless it's business, then we go hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like when you become all business, it's
Yeah.
like, and you want to really truly be successful.
Yeah. Who's got the
it's-
time?
Yeah, your circle's very limited. The people
Yeah.
in my life actually are the people that support me in this building.
Yeah.
Those are the people in my life.
And your wife and kids.
my wife and kids.
Yeah, me too.
And my wife will tell you she's the only one that will truly tell me the truth. That's what she says.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's fucking true.
Because
God.
she says because I pay the rest of them.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
really, yeah. Hard
Yeah.
to tell your boss, like, yeah,
I like
that's
that.
stupid.
I like
She's
that.
like, that's a bad idea.
Right.
Oh no, Chad, that's a great idea.
Right.
Let's do that.
Right.
I think G tells me the truth though too. But my wife said she said it to Natalie the other day. She said I'm the only one that tells him the absolute truth.
I beat around it, but I end up getting to the middle, but in a nice way.
She doesn't.
I know she doesn't.
Donna doesn't.
I know she doesn't.
My wife's pretty gangster, man. She
Yeah.
doesn't fuck around at all. Like
Yeah.
she's like, you know.
Yeah.
And that's honest to God though. That's one of the reasons you can go back to my wedding video with her. I said that's one of the reasons that I like her is that she's always honest with me. Like right from the get go. Like we were just texting because we met online, and right from the get go, we had been texting for like a week every day. And one morning I woke up and I was like, hey, what are you doing today? And she could have just like lied.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, actually I'm going out on a first date with a guy. And I was like, haven't we been texting for like a week? And she was like, well, you haven't asked me out on a date yet. And I was like, well, so I said, this will be the last first date that you go on until I get a date. So it was like a Wednesday. I took her out on that next Saturday.
Yeah.
And she's never dated anybody
No,
since.
she has not.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
That I know of.
You sleep on
Right?
the couch at night.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Shit.
Yeah, but this is the life that we get to live because we start doing the right things. You start doing all the right things, man. Fucking who gets out of prison?
Yeah, no one does. Shit.
For
Good
real.
For you.
And you still have a whole life ahead of you. I'm excited to see what happens in your life in the next 10 years. You know?
Me as well, man.
Yeah.
I love that shit.
Yeah, keep collecting stuff.
And in the world, America likes drama, but the world loves a comeback story.
For sure.
You know, America loves drama, but America loves a comeback story too. Who doesn't love fucking Robert Downey Jr.?
Dude.
Like,
I was in the county jail with him.
fucking Iron Man.
Yeah. Like, the reason we had like these like cool bags to hold our canteen when we go to court, or you getting transferred, you don't got to put it in the sheet no more. And it's like, now he's like flying in and shit. Like,
yeah. He just flies
Doris
in.
or whatever her name is, like, do this. It's like, dude, I remember like, what the hell? Like, hey, turn around, face the wall. And it's like Robert Downey Jr. is walking down the hall. like, hey, Deb, it's kind of hard not to
Like,
when
get
your
a
ass
glance.
kicked,
Can we
you're like,
please
no,
get a
I'm going to face
glance?
this wall, man.
I
Like,
want to get a glance at Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, fucking A.
His life was a mess, dude.
Yeah,
I remember. I
complete mess.
was like clean for that. I was clean and sober already.
have you ever read The Success Principles by Jack Canfield?
No, but I will. Is it can I get it on audio?
I'm pretty sure you can. This is the guy who did the chicken noodle soup for the soul.
Oh yeah.
And so my buddy Kevin Payne just got married. He did 27 years for a murder he didn't even commit. He had life in prison.
Jeez.
And the dude who actually did commit the murder ended up coming to jail with life in prison.
Really?
Yeah. And so Kevin gave me this book right before he was going home because I helped him. That was another one of my biggest things. I love helping people get out of jail. And I even helped my ex-girlfriend's uncle get out of prison. And so, kind of like give you the assist. Like Donna, I'll tell you straight up the truth. I used to tell dudes in prison all the time, don't waste my time, or it'll be the last time we talk. Like, if you're not going to put in the work for yourself, I'm damn sure not going to do it. And so Kevin left me this book. I still have this book to this day. And he talks about all these different people who could have given up. Sylvester Stallone, when he was writing Rocky,
Yeah.
he threw the script in the trash.
Yeah.
He's like, nobody's gonna believe this shit until Muhammad Ali lost. And he picked it up and finished writing it. Stephen King threw Carrie away. His wife happened to come behind it. She said, this is gonna be a bestseller. Finish this damn book. And it's cult fiction, right?
Yeah.
And so I say all that to say is that, like, no matter how you think, you think, oh, I can't do this, I can't make it, oh, I'm not great enough. Dude, there's enough people already saying that about you. Do not add into that. Henry Ford is famous for saying, whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right.
Yeah.
So just always believe you can, no matter what. Like, my goal is to be a millionaire by 40.
Yeah.
I got 5 years left, right? And I made this goal when I was doing life in prison. It didn't make sense. No type of logicalness to it. But I was like, let me make this now, because I'll have something to shoot for.
Yeah.
As opposed to just saying, like, if I ever get out of jail, like, no. Stop with the ifs. I hope, like, I know this is Hopeaholics, but, like, stop, like, oh, I hope that I can do, like, no. Know that you can. Go do it. And then when you sit back, you're like, damn, I really, like, I did that. Stop sitting around waiting. Like, people are always waiting for somebody to be like, hey, come here, let me help you. Like, no, go get it. Because you don't know which, like, I went viral just because I had enough balls to ask a question. I ran into this guy, Gideon. I didn't even know who the hell he was, and I just saw him getting recorded. Well, he had so the story, he had a shirt that said professional raw dogger, and I made a joke. Hey, that was definitely me back in the day. And so he's laughing. He's like, it's a real thing. And at the moment I looked and I seen somebody following with a camera, like, yo, what? So he's a professional prankster, right? He's like, yo, it's a Joe Rogan podcast. I'm so focused on, like, wanting to get the information that I didn't even think of back, like, why is there a black dude doing a Joe Rogan podcast in Hollywood and walking down the street? So he started off by pranking me, and once he heard my story, the dude who was infamous for just pranking and trolling people gave me a shout out. And, like, I remember getting off work, I had 41 followers on TikTok. And by the end of the night, I had 10,000. I had 41 followers on YouTube. And before I went to sleep, I was at like 10.8K. And I was like, but it was because I had enough courage to ask a question that I needed an answer to. Stop waiting for people to just thinking people just going to just stop and be like, hey, you look really interesting. Let me tell you how to start a podcast. Like, no, ask questions. Ask. If a person tell you no, so what? You didn't know anyway.
Shane loves the no.
I love it.
He loves it when somebody tells him no.
That's my fucking favorite. I go for the no's.
It just, like, kind of like makes you like, I can, all right.
Yeah.
I like
be your
it
own
when people
advocate.
I love it when people tell me I can't. They say when somebody says you can't do that, I'm like, watch me. I really am.
Watch me, motherfucker.
I just like, because and I get it though, because so many people in this world, they haven't stacked enough wins.
They don't
Right.
know.
And so they don't know. I'm in a different space. So this is, my mindset is different. But I was there too. I was broken and down at the very, 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 very bottom.
Right.
And I, built my way to the top. It wasn't like an overnight success in any way, shape, or form. And I'm still building.
Right.
Still building. But I don't have a mindset of I can't do it anymore because I've stacked so many wins in a row.
Right.
With many losses in
Of course.
between. But there's so many wins. And now that I've won so many times, I know how to win.
Right.
Like, I know if like this podcast, I know how to win this podcast. I win by never stopping.
Right.
I win by manifesting that we're going to be the number one podcast. We are the number one podcast sitting right next to Joe Rogan, right?
Right.
You manifest that stuff. And I love the fact that you brought up manifestation, because a lot of people don't realize, and what you follow with manifestation, like visualizing and doing all the stuff in your mind, is with speaking it into existence,
Right.
and then action, right?
Exactly.
And once we do that,
Yeah.
The rest is history.
the rest is history. Just like everybody's looking for the end game, and just sit back and enjoy the motherfucking journey.
Facts, man. And it's amazing that you say that, right? My goal is to be a motivational speaker, right? Like the number one motivational speaker in the world.
You can take over the Eric Thomas.
I'm
the
definitely
hip-hop
going to take
preacher?
over all of that. And so how I do that is I do motivational speaking every day for free.
Nice.
Anybody I see, like my friends, I'm always encouraging, building, inspiring, because I remember listening to TDJ say, if you can't do it for free now, you'll never get paid to do it.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, every day it's a gig for me. You know, I had a patient was going through something, and I just was speaking life into her. I was just like, look, we can never control what people say, what people think, or how they behave. But our greatest strength is being able to control our response. I said, as opposed to a reaction. You know, reaction is like somebody says something, I said, but a response shows that you can think and you can do critical thinking on the spot. And that's one of the greatest gifts of man. And so I'm always telling people, like, look, respond to everything. Never react. A reaction shows poor character, shows a lack of discipline, that you're not a great thinker because you didn't use the ability that you have to think things through. And had I done that, I wouldn't even be sitting here.
Yeah.
If I just reacted to everything, if I reacted to when people told me I couldn't do things or this is not going to work. I remember when I had to step aside, when I stepped away from the gang, people still love to hold you to your past no matter what, right? You could become like a billionaire. People like, hey, you want to still get high? You're like, no, dude, what the hell? And so I remember this one young dude that was running with like, that my neighborhood was like allies with, and this other guy from Compton, he's a Crip from Compton, he's like, hey, cuz, woo. And I'm like, dude, I don't, that ain't got shit to do with me. Like, I'm my own man. He was like, you can't do that. I was like, no, you can't do that. I am doing that, you know? And it's like, you just got to have it. You just got to, you know, like what you say with the benefit. If I say, oh, I'm going to get a six pack and I'm just still just eating cookies, like I'm just visualizing, I did some
I've
crazy.
been visualizing getting a six pack.
Yeah,
every
6 pack
day.
of freaking soda or beer or something, because it's damn sure not going to be a 6 pack in your stomach because you're not putting any actions behind the things that you're visualizing and wanting for your life.
Yeah.
Listen, in the end, he's in the top 2% of the fucking world.
In the end,
You know what I'm saying?
Really
because he gets up in the
matter.
morning, you go to the gym, you're in shape, you're working out. That's only 10% of the country does that. Getting out of jail from a life sentence, at what, 1%, 0.5%?
From a life sentence? I don't know. It's probably less than 1%.
Probably less than that.
And still in their 30s?
And so in his
still in
30s.
their 30s, yeah.
So obviously there's something he's going to do. We don't know what it is, but there's something special. He's going to keep on this track because he's a hard worker, smart, and he's got what it takes.
Yeah.
That's just
that.
the bottom line.
Yeah. I hope you believe that deep down in your soul.
Yeah.
With everything in me, I believe
Yeah.
that.
There's God's got something special for you. Like, you didn't just show up on our podcast. Like, we don't just let everybody on.
Right.
This guy fucking bugged me for a while. So you can give a shout out to that guy.
Shout out to my man Killian,
Yeah.
man. I love that dude.
Yeah. He wouldn't stop
Killian wrote the book.
Yeah.
He wouldn't stop DMing me. And then I was like, can you email me like a story? And then he did that. And then I was like,
You're right. Then we couldn't remember. I called him. I heard the story again. And I said, fuck, bro.
yeah.
This guy's got one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then when I mean, this shit, because so much goes on, and even Shane, he's like, well, who is this guy that's coming in today? And I'm like, I don't know.
I still didn't know until we sat down because we got so many people
Right.
we're doing so much.
Right.
But we knew we wouldn't have kept you on unless it was a
And
good
I was
one.
actually
This is
even
a great
happy
one.
that he followed up last night, and just to check in, because like our previous guest, we actually had 2 podcasts today, and she didn't show up, and
Yeah.
she said we didn't follow up, but. I'm gonna call her out.
You're going to call her out. Do it.
I don't
We're
care,
calling
yeah.
you out. There's a green check
There
mark
was
on.
there was a green check mark.
You did get notified.
You did get notified.
Yeah.
There was a green
Yeah.
check mark on the.
You are officially busted.
Shane
We got you.
We got her.
We got you.
We got her. She
Yeah.
didn't show up.
No, she did not.
Was too far to drive down here from Los Angeles.
what?
I came from Los Angeles.
We're not going
Yeah.
to call out
You
any
came
names.
from-
There's no names here. You know who you are, though.
She probably won't though by
No,
now. And
she
nobody
won't.
listens this far into
No,
the podcast.
no, only family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, so I am though. I what I like is I actually took one podcast, the Lamar Odom podcast, and I just recently had it edited down to 10 minutes, the best 10 minutes of the podcast.
Was I in that 10 minutes at all?
Yeah.
Was I?
Yeah.
I'd like to see it.
Okay.
I want to see what
I just
the
downloaded it.
good. Send it over. I want to see what the thing.
I saw a clip of it too.
You
and
did?
was
I
like-
didn't watch it yet.
The whole time I've been sitting here, I'm like, even though like Lamar Odom's not my favorite basketball player, I'm like a super duper LeBron James fan.
Yeah.
And I believe in like the Holy Trinity: LeBron, Michael, Kobe.
Yeah.
But I'm still sitting here like, yo, bro, like 3 years ago you were sitting in the prison cell, and now like you sitting somewhere like Lamar Odom was sitting.
Yeah.
Turns out
There
to
you
see
go.
Lamar Odom
Yeah, he
was
sat
sitting
right there.
You can sign right below him. I'll show you
sure.
where he.
Yeah.
I'll show you where he signed.
Yeah, he's down there.
Yeah, Lamar was great, and I was a little bit nervous when he was coming in that day. I was a little bit nervous when Natalie Eva Marie, when we first met her. I was a little bit nervous. I was nervous my very first podcast, like terrified. And like God told me to build this podcast, right? Because I lost my son-in-law a year ago. Yesterday.
My condolences.
To fentanyl. And I want to bring awareness. I want to bring hope. I want to be the voice for the families that no longer have a voice. I want to build a platform that reaches, everybody. Because here, at the end of the day, we all have some type of mental health issue that, it could be something as simple as like we have, some anxiety about our life, or we have some trauma. Everybody has pain.
Everybody has pain.
Amen.
Everybody has some type of pain, and the pain, the trauma, those things stop us from being able to think the way that you currently think.
Right.
To be able to manifest, to grow, to change the world, to become like a world shaker, right?
Well, I agree with what you're saying. Let's look at a little bit that when you're going through that pain, if you make a decision to change during that pain, like he did, like you did, like I did, you know what I mean? Yeah, bro. Fucking A.
I mean, one of my favorite quotes, I got it from Narcotics Anonymous back in the day. When the pain of remaining the same outweighs the fear of change, then we change.
Yeah.
Like the pain gets so severe that I can no longer stay this way anymore. Whether it be like the pain got so bad, you lost your mom, you lost your brother.
Fucking
like, I can't life in prison. I can't continue with this gang life.
Yeah, man.
Well, bro, the thing is, most people are thinking at that time suicide already, or fucking thinking about holy shit.
It's
like
crazy you said that.
Yeah.
Because as soon as I went to prison, right, it was a white guy. He had 123 years of life. The first time they let us out for yard, he told the cellie, "Hey, I'm gonna kill myself. Go." He hung himself. He said, "I'm not gonna do this all this time," and he straight killed. And I was like, and for me, suicide never was even a thought, like not even a baby thought. Like, man, I probably should. I was like, no, because I was like, I'm a fighter. And I used to always tell people, like, how can you say you're a gangster, right? You do all this bad shit, you go to jail, now all of a sudden you can't take that part of the lifestyle? Like I used to love to get into fights. I love boxing and UFC and all that type of stuff, right? And I always say, like, the greatest thing for me, one of the greatest things in life is like to be able to outthink your opponent, because that's really what fighting is, to be able to, okay, I'm gonna fiend this kick because I know you're gonna go for this block and I'm gonna knock you out. And so that's just how I look at life. It's like everything it's a fight, but I don't look at it like in the negative connotation of a fight. It's just like, all right, okay, this didn't work. I got socked in the jaw. I don't like how that jaw felt after that. Okay, let me try it this way. Let me do it this way, because I used to always be like the super duper most bluntest person. I was like, you know what? That's really not getting me too far, because people are not looking at it like, he's an honest person. They're like, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
So I started learning how to, like, you know what? Let's keep this one to myself. Let's do, like Shane said, kind of beat around it, but get to it in a more diplomatic and empathetic way. So that's what keeps me going. It's just like, when I get up in the morning, it's a fight for today.
Yeah. Yeah. You need that attitude.
Yeah. Well, damn, man.
Yeah.
That was a great podcast. We went way longer than I thought. That was really good, man.
Thanks, man.
Thanks.
I appreciate it. I love being here, man.
Yeah. We're going to do a picture and then